Chapter 293. P.S. Thanks to QQHJG, 5-star Army General, Super Mew Mew, for his monthly vote. Thanks to Doling for his evaluation vote. April 1st, begging for a guaranteed monthly vote. Lin Fei took out a large number of treasures in one go, causing Lin Jintian and the rest to gasp. Any one of them would be highly sought after. Such a large amount of resources could only appear in a dream. Lin Feng swallowed his saliva. I'm not dreaming, am I? Pure yuan pills were one of the cultivation resources for the disciples of the big families. Lin Feng had never used more than 100 pure yuan pills in his life. He had never used the spiritual liquid, but he had heard of its miraculous effects. As for the spiritual treasure, it was something that could only be found in a dream. In reality, no matter which treasure it was, the Lin family could only look at it and think about it. They had never thought of owning it. After all, it was another level of cultivation. Lin Fei laughed. Of course it's not a dream. You will become experts soon. There are a total of 10 million pure yuan pills, 500 kilograms of spiritual liquid, and some ordinary weapons and spiritual treasures. I believe that the family will rise again soon. Hiss! The three of them inhaled a breath of cold air. 10 million pure yuan pills. It was an unimaginable number. Lin Feng and Lin Xiao were stunned. Only Lin Jintian remained calm. Even so, his breathing was rapid and his heartbeat accelerated. He could not remain calm. Lin Fei waved his hand and stored all the pure yuan pills in order to prevent their aura from leaking out and attracting the attention of outsiders. He handed it to his father solemnly. Father, these resources will be under your control from now on. Choose a few loyal members of the Lin family and nurture them. It will be enough to nurture a group of experts. Lin Jintian looked at his son, not knowing what to say. 5 months ago, Lin Fei gave him a huge shock. Who would have thought that 5 months later he would bring another shock? Especially the resources that he brought back. Lin Jintian did not even think about it. Soon, Lin Jintian felt relieved. His son was so proud he should be happy. Little Fei, your father can't do anything else, but it shouldn't be a problem for him to cultivate a group of experts who are loyal to the Lin family. Lin Jintian was very confident. Lin Fei said, After I leave, I will set up the runes array in the secret room. When the time comes, you can cultivate in the secret room. Also, while I am at home, help you improve your strength. If one were to say that they had taken out such a generous amount of resources, it would already be shocking enough. At this moment, it felt like a dream to talk about improving his strength. Is that okay? Lin Xiao could not help but ask. If Lin Fei wasn't confident before, then he was completely relieved now. Lin Fei's control over quintessential essence had already reached a level where he could control it at will. It shouldn't be a problem for him to help them increase their strength appropriately. Before reaching the 9th heavenly layer of the martial Tao, one would cultivate true qi. After consuming the spirit liquid, one would be able to improve immediately. His father, on the other hand, had the strength of a late-stage profound practitioner. As long as he had enough true qi, his strength would be able to improve. The Lin family had a profound adept expert overseeing it, so there wouldn't be any big problems for the time being. Of course. That night, Lin Fei was in the secret room, helping them to improve their strength. It took a total of 3 days for their strength to improve. His father, Lin Jintian's strength, had been forcefully raised by Lin Fei to the late-stage mystic adept. It was already impossible for him to go any further and reach the late-stage mystic adept realm. However, with the spirit treasure that Lin Fei had left behind, he would be able to fight against a mystic adept expert without being at a disadvantage. He might even be able to kill them. He didn't have to worry about being unable to deal with a mystic adept expert. As for his 2 brothers, Lin Fei didn't forcefully raise their strength by much. He only helped them to break through to the profound practitioner realm. Fortunately, their foundations were very good. After advancing to the profound practitioner realm, Lin Fei helped them advance 3 small realms to the late-stage profound practitioner realm. Anyone below the profound practitioner realm was killed without mercy. It was already 3 days later when he finished raising his strength. With the strength of a late-stage mystic adept, Lin Jintian once again intimidated everyone in the Lin family, especially the elders. Fortunately, this news was suppressed by Lin Jintian and was not allowed to leak out. As for whether it would be leaked out, it was no longer important. What was important was that the Lin family's strength had increased once again and had truly taken a step forward. After raising his strength, Lin Fei went out to see his old friends. After all, he didn't know when he would return again. During this period, the Rune Guild's Mu Changkong personally came to explain what happened that day. Regarding the matter that day, Lin Fei wasn't really angry. He knew the cause and effect, and there was nothing he could do about it. Mu Changkong was also shocked by the rapid improvement of Lin Fei's strength. This kind of cultivation speed was like sitting on a rocket. How many people could reach this step? For the Rune Guild, it was very useful at the moment. It was not wrong to have a good relationship with them. As the leader of a guild, Mu Changkong no longer looked at him as a disciple. Instead, he looked at him as the same person. If Mu Changkong knew that Lin Fei could already contend against a king stage expert, he would probably be scared half to death. Of course, Lin Fei wasn't the kind of person who liked to flaunt his strength everywhere. Mu Changkong left with a satisfied harvest. Actually, the thing that Mu Changkong was most worried about when he brought his men here was that Lin Fei would leave a bad impression on the Rune Guild. Lin Fei had returned from outside and killed a mystic adept expert on the spot. He had killed all the disciples of the Black Tortoise sect in Tianxia like slaughtering chickens and sheep. This news fell into Mu Changkong's ears immediately, which was why he took the initiative to pay a visit today. Originally, he thought that he could rest for a few days after settling the matter. Only then did he know that being famous wasn't a good thing. First of all the big shots in Guiyuan City came to pay a visit. The Lin family didn't have any free time. Other than that, the city lord Su also took the initiative to pay a visit. 5 days later, after returning from outside, Lin Fei stayed for 5 days. On the morning of the 5th day, Lin Fei left quietly. He didn't like the sadness of parting. In addition to the things that he had left behind, it was inevitable that the Lin family would develop rapidly in the future. After leaving Guiyuan City, Lin Fei became lazy again and rode Shaohei to Mountain River City. This time, Lin Fei wanted to completely settle the remaining troubles. When that time comes, he could really be at ease. Damn, the mission given by the system is really a pain in the ass. Lying on Shaohei ran as if it was flying. It was so fast that one couldn't see its shadow. It ran on the official road like a ghost. At this moment, Lin Fei was very resentful. Last night, Lin Fei initiated a promotion mission. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a big mission. Annihilate Tianxia. The promotion mission of a mystic master was actually to annihilate Tianxia. Lin Fei himself was surprised. Fortunately, with my current strength, I don't need to be afraid of Tianxia. At most, it will be a little troublesome to deal with it. However, the Golden Breeze Drizzle building should intervene in this matter, right? Lin Fei's lips curled into a smile. Unconsciously, he thought of Jean Feng, the rich lady who had a little temperament of a queen. A day later, Lin Fei appeared in the vicinity of Mountain River City. Previously, when he returned to Yuan City, Lin Fei was leisurely. This time he didn't control his speed and let Shaohei run to his heart's content. When he was about to reach Mountain River City, he then stopped. Shaohei, you can go now. Lin Fei took out a small bag of pure elemental pills and hung it on Shaohei's neck. He let Shaohei go. When he reached Mountain River City, he wouldn't need Shaohei anymore. Ayo! Shaohei let out a long howl and then left reluctantly. Any demonic beast would be happy to be a mount for a few days and receive a good income, especially for Xiaohei, who wasn't very strong. With this income of pure elemental pills, he might even be able to advance a realm. Mountain River City, I, Lin Fei, am back. Lin Fei couldn't help but let out a long howl and flew towards Mountain River City, leaving behind a series of afterimages. Lin Fei pulled the black robe on his body and walked into Mountain River City. It had been 5 months since the last time. Lin Fei couldn't help but sigh. I wonder how Jin Feng is doing. Walking on the streets, people came and went. It was as lively as the last time. Mountain River City was still the same Mountain River City. When a group of people in black swaggered through the streets, they were even more arrogant than before. Lin Fei couldn't help but have a bad feeling. In less than an hour, Lin Fei saw a few groups of people in black passing through the streets. What happened in Mountain River City in the last 5 months? The people of Tianxia seemed to be more arrogant than before. Lin Fei looked at the disciples of Tianxia who had just walked past him. After his strength had increased, Lin Fei had a strong perception of subtle changes. Usually, things would not be too far from the truth and would not be too far off. It seems that I have to find someone to ask. Lin Fei thought. Mountain River City had no shortage of people. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, Lin Fei walked out of the alley, leaving behind an unconscious person. So that's how it is. A cold light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. Just now he had found a random person and asked about the specific situation. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. He didn't expect things to develop to this point. No wonder Tianxia has been so arrogant recently. It turns out that such a big change has happened in Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. He was still thinking about what that martial artist had said just now. The building master of Golden Breeze Drizzle Building was ambushed and killed by an expert of Tianxia. Now, they are in a mess internally. They are fighting for power. If they don't handle it well, they will fall apart. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building that was originally on par with the World Gang had lost the control of the building master and was in chaos internally. Everyone wanted to sit on this position and become the true building master, controlling the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. There was a fight for power internally. Outside, there was a forced marriage by Tianxia. That's right, it was indeed a forced marriage. The eldest son of Tianxia, Qin Ting, was preparing to marry Miss Jin Feng. In fact, he was aiming for Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, which was equivalent to finding a reason to interfere. Chapter 294. Mountain River City. In the huge headquarters of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. At this time, with an atmosphere of decline, people wondered if it would collapse at any time and become a memory in the long river of history. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, which could compete with Tianxia in the past, had long lost its original dominance and was in extreme chaos. The guards at the door were also lazy and had lost their usual vigor. All this was because the building master of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, Jin Yang, was dead. The strength of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building was all in Jin Yang's hands. Although it was partly with the help of other forces, it was undeniable that any organization needed a person with vision, insight, and courage. There was no doubt that Jin Yang was one of them. Unfortunately, after Jin Yang was killed, the internal situation immediately loosened and people began to fight for power. Jin Yang did not have a son. He had many adopted sons, but his real biological daughter was Jin Feng. As a girl, Jin Feng was not strong and could not control the elders and other warriors. As a result, under the deliberate instigation, the internal problems became more and more serious. Coupled with the constant pressure from Tianxia, the strength of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building was constantly being suppressed. In the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, in a quiet little yard, it was full of greenery. A young girl stood in front of the window. The soft moonlight shone on the girl, but the girl's eyebrows were full of worry. Behind the girl stood a middle-aged man. This man was Yang Kai, whom Lin Fei was familiar with. He was one of the deputy building masters of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building and could be said to be one of Jean Yang's right-hand men. Niece Jean, I will definitely seek justice for you tomorrow. Yang Kai said angrily, the building master's body is not cold yet, and they have already begun to fight for power. I will not accept whoever takes this position. In this fight for power, the only one who did not make a move was Yang Kai. The girl turned her head and revealed a touch of firmness in her eyes. Uncle Yang, this position is my father's. No one can take it away from me. I will not let my father down. Yang Kai's eyes were filled with joy. The only thing he was worried about was that Jean Feng had lost the courage to keep moving forward. Now that he heard this, it was enough to confirm that Miss Jean had not lost her fighting spirit. In the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, Jean Feng was the most qualified to sit on the position of the building master. Unfortunately, she was a woman, which made people feel dissatisfied. If she was a man, it would be perfectly justifiable. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any internal strife. Yang Kai said, as long as young lady says this, Uncle Yang will risk his life to help you win this position. I will go out and contact them now, and strive to give them a counterattack tomorrow. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building was in chaos. Its power was divided into several factions. The Golden Phoenix faction was not the strongest, but it was also not the weakest. However, it was the most qualified faction that sat on the throne. The other factions lacked the qualifications the most. Miss, it's best if you don't go out tonight. I'll arrange 2 experts outside the courtyard, Yang Kai said before leaving. Then I'll have to trouble Uncle Yang. When Jean Feng was left alone in the room, a sense of helplessness flashed across her strong face. She would only show it when no one was around. Father, what should I do? Jean Feng sat on the bed. After a moment, the sense of helplessness of a young girl disappeared. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building belongs to our Jean family. No one can take it away. Jean Feng's eyebrows straightened and her face turned cold. Miss Jean, it turns out that you are so beautiful when you are angry. Suddenly, a man's voice sounded in the room. Who? Jean Feng turned around and moved. The black whip lashed in one direction, making a paw-paw-paw sound. However, when she felt her whip fell in the hand of the man, she could not help but be shocked. In the darkness, the voice sounded again. You still like this trick. Last time you whipped me, I didn't expect you to whip me again this time. The black shadow walked out of the darkness and lifted his hood. It's you. Jean Feng was shocked. You, when did you come in? The one who sneaked into Jean Feng's room was Lin Fei, who came from Guiyuan City. Under the cover of the night, he came to Jean Feng's room. Lin Fei loosened his hand and said with grievance, I just arrived, and then Miss Jean whipped me. Don't you think I am wronged? Jean Feng put away the whip, and her mood suddenly became better. She rolled her eyes and said, Who let you sneak in? Don't you know that? Is this a girl's boudoir? Lin Fei laughed dryly. Well, you opened the window. How would I know? You are twisting words and forcing logic. This was the first time for Lin Fei to hear the details of the situation since he asked about the situation on the street, including what happened after he left. It seems that Tianxia and Black Tortoise sect arranged disciples to kill me. Someone must have snitched on me. Lin Fei could not help but think of the things that happened a few days ago, because everything happened without warning. Jean Feng was startled. Your Lin family was also attacked? Lin Fei smiled bitterly. If I hadn't rushed back, the Lin family might really have been annihilated. Listening to what you said just now, it seems like there's someone behind all of this. Your father is a mystic spirit practitioner after all. The Under Heaven gang has always been unable to touch your father. How did they succeed this time? I suspect that there's an expert involved. Could it be Black Tortoise sect? Lin Fei said that is unknown. But we will soon know who is behind this. With that, his eyes revealed a murderous intention. Jean Fong hurriedly said, "You can't do anything stupid. Whether it is Black Tortoise Sect or Tianxia, they're not something you can contend with at present." Although the two of them did not know each other for a long time, there was no restriction when they were together. They were very free. Therefore, Jean Fong was worried that Lin Fei would do something impulsive. Lin Fei could finally laugh. "I can easily enter your Golden Breeze drizzle building. Do you think I am that kind of reckless person?" Jean Feng's strength was at the profound perfection realm. In 5 months, her strength had advanced by leaps and bounds. She had just entered the profound perfection realm recently. Hearing this, she could not help but be surprised. "You have already entered the profound master realm." "This is not my true strength. It is more than enough to enter your Golden Breeze drizzle building." Lin Fei said, "You and I are friends. We now have a common enemy, Tianxia and Black Tortoise Sect. Your matter is also my matter. I will definitely help you vent your anger." Jean Fong was very touched. She did not take Lin Fei's words to heart. Instead, she was worried. "I understand your intention. I will deal with Tianxia. I will not let my father die in vain. I don't want you to take the risk." Lin Fei immediately heard Jean Feng's concerned tone. For this kind of smart girl, he vaguely guessed something. He changed the topic. "I heard that you are going to re-elect the building master tomorrow. Do you mind taking me with you?" Jean Feng still regarded Lin Fei as an impulsive person. She did not want him to do anything impulsive. She nodded. "You must promise me that you will not do anything stupid." Lin Fei smiled. "Last time I was your guard. I did not expect to be a guard again." That night, the two of them chatted until late. The two people guarding outside the courtyard did not dare to know what was going on inside. The next morning, Lin Fei was the first to wake up. When he saw Jean Feng beside him, he could not help but be confused. Did he not drink last night? He only remembered that they chatted until late. Then he did not remember. When he woke up, he was like this. This movement made Jean Feng's long eyelashes flutter. She opened her eyes. "Ah!" Jean Feng could not help but scream. Her pretty face could not help but blush. She was very embarrassed. Apparently, she did not expect that she would fall asleep next to a man last night. Both of them did not care about this matter. It was as if nothing had happened. When Jean Feng came out, there was a mask on Lin Fei's face. He looked like a sickly middle-aged man. He looked very sick. "You are—" If it was not for the familiar clothes, Jean Feng would have thought that it was a stranger. "How is it? You can't recognize me?" Jean Feng nodded. "What an exquisite disguise. I almost could not recognize you. From now on, I am your guard, a guard sent by a mysterious person." Lin Fei immediately found an excuse for himself. If it was not for the incident in the Golden Breeze drizzle building, Lin Fei would definitely change into a mask. He wanted to see who was stirring up trouble behind the scenes. When Jean Feng brought Lin Fei out, the two Xian adept experts at the entrance of the courtyard were obviously shocked. How did this person get in? How come they didn't know anything? After hearing Miss Jean Feng's explanation, they were relieved. They were afraid that they had been kidnapped. Once again, he walked in the familiar Golden Breeze drizzle building. Lin Fei clearly felt that the atmosphere in the Golden Breeze drizzle building was very depressing. It seemed lifeless. It was not as vigorous and energetic as before. The death of Jin Yang had a considerable impact on the Golden Breeze drizzle building. Otherwise, it would not be like this. Lin Fei thought to himself. He saw the changes in the Golden Breeze drizzle building. Today, the meeting hall was quite lively. The position of the building master made everyone excited. People were greedy. Once the stone on their heads was removed, they would have ideas. Once these ideas were out of control, they would go to another path. At the entrance of the meeting hall, as soon as Jean Feng and Lin Fei arrived, they met a group of people coming from the opposite side. Lin Fei was a little surprised to see the leader of the group. It was Jin Fei, Jin Yang's favorite adopted son, who had lost to him in a duel. Little Feng, is this person also one of them? Jin Feng's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent. A dog that cannot be tamed. Lin Fei obviously understood the meaning behind her words. Jin Fei was also here to compete for this position. In addition, he was an adopted son. Even if he became a puppet, he would be drawn in by others. It was no wonder that he was said to be a dog that cannot be tamed. Lin Fei was most displeased with the idea of adopting a son. In the movies, this kind of person was most likely a traitor. Chapter 295. P.S. Thanks to Luo Yuxuan for the tip. Jing Fei was in a good mood recently. As Jin Yang's adopted son, especially the one that he valued the most, Jing Fei always had a great ambition. He was not satisfied with being an adopted son, but he wanted to stand out and make a name for himself. In the past, this idea had been suppressed infinitely, and he did not even dare to show a trace of it, fearing that it would be seen by others. He had always been honest and diligent. After Jin Yang's adopted father died, Jing Fei could no longer control his ambition. In addition, recently, people frequently came to find him, offering unimaginable temptations. Jing Fei was completely moved. Being an adopted son was not as glorious as being the owner of the building. Even if he became a puppet, so what? As for revenge, Jing Fei had never thought about it, nor did he want to do it. He was already dead. How could he take revenge? Unless that person was an idiot, he wouldn't be able to do so. After today, I, Jing Fei, will be the new owner of the building. At that time, I will be a celebrity in the Mountain River City. Jing Fei smiled proudly. When he saw Jin Feng, Jing Fei's eyes revealed a lustful look. This sister, on the surface, did not know how many nights she had wanted to press him under her body, completely conquer him, and seek pleasure under his crotch. Now, Jing Fei had no scruples anymore. Jin Feng is mine. No one can take her away. Sister Jin, why are you here? I am here for men's affairs. Jing Fei strode forward. His tone sounded very polite, but in fact he was expressing his own opinion. He did not mind others hearing it, and he did not mind others seeing his ambition. Jin Feng said lightly, "Such a big thing, how can I not come? Anyhow, I am your sister." This was also a reply to Jing Fei. Jing Fei smiled. "I am afraid that Sister Jin will be disappointed today. As the adopted son of my adopted father, I will inherit his will and carry forward the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, and let everyone know the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building." Lin Fei, who was next to him, could not help but want to laugh. "Don't you know how to brag? You haven't even taken this position yet, and you're already acting so smug here? You should at least hide your desires. Don't be so blatant. Don't you know that this is very unsightly?" "Young Master Jin Fei, I don't agree with your words. You are also an adopted son, and so am I. Are you the only one who can be the Tower Master?" At that moment, someone else interrupted. It turned out that there was another young man who was about the same age as Jing Fei. Judging from his tone, he was also one of the adopted sons. "This is Jin Jianqing, my father's adopted son." Lin Fei was amused. "It seems that all of you foster sons are full of wild ambitions. You should all be killed." Indeed, no matter how tolerant Jin Feng was, she would not have a good impression of her father's adopted sons. On the contrary, she hated them deeply. She had already suppressed them by not attacking them on the spot. Very quickly, 4 foster sons walked in. Each of them had a group of supporters behind them, such as elders. They were the strongest supporters. "These people are useless." Lin Fei shook his head. "But that Jing Fei's people are all experts. They don't seem to be from your Golden Breeze Drizzle Building." "Traitor!" Jin Feng gritted her teeth and said hatefully. In the meeting hall. The meeting hall of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building was very big. At this time it was full of people. Those who had a certain status in the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building were all gathered in the meeting hall. Because there was an important matter today. According to what they said, a country couldn't be without a leader, and the Golden Breeze Drizzle building couldn't be without a leader. They had to choose a new leader to resist the invasion of Tianxia and get out of the current depression. They couldn't delay it any longer. Everyone wanted to choose this person as soon as possible. As the saying goes, every king has his own courtiers. It would have a great impact on the position and the distribution of benefits. They had to pay attention to it. When Jean Feng came in with Lin Fei, everyone respectfully called her Miss Jean. On this point, they didn't dare to go overboard. If word got out that landlord Jin's corpse hadn't even turned cold yet, a member of the gang had already bullied his daughter. If word got out, it would have a huge impact. This was a matter of face, and they didn't dare to let others talk about it. A bunch of hypocrites. Jean Feng lowered her voice and said, "Isn't it just to choose a new leader earlier? Look at them. They are just short of a full-scale war to fight for this position." Lin Fei looked at them and said, "Just let them be happy. There are accidents in everything. In the end, they will be the losers." Jean Feng glanced at Lin Fei and said, "I hope so." When the 4 adopted sons walked in, everyone stood up. The vast majority of them chose to support one of the adopted sons because only the adopted sons had the right to compete. Otherwise, it would be unjustifiable and no one would be convinced. Who knew when the quarrel would end? This was an unspoken rule in the gang. No one could avoid it. Because they couldn't, there was such a scene. Vice Leader Yan Kai is here. Vice Leader Shin Sanbao is here. When the 2 giants of the Golden Breeze Drizzle building appeared, the meeting hall quieted down. Yan Kai and Shin Sanbao came in one after another. The 2 of them sat at the head of the table. The middle seat was empty, which was the leader's seat. At this moment, it was empty and their target was the seat. As the saying goes, a country can't be without a leader for a day. Our Golden Breeze Drizzle building can't be without a leader. I suggest that we elect a new leader. Shin Sanbao stood up and said, "Since we are all together today, let's discuss and elect a new leader so that everyone can be at ease. We will definitely support Landlord Shen's words. Elect a new leader to continue leading the Golden Breeze Drizzle building. Elect a new leader. Elect a leader." Everyone present was excited. Especially the elders, they were especially excited. Those adopted children who were seated were similarly beaming with joy. They were exceptionally excited because at this crucial moment, there was someone among them who could sit in the sacred position of floor master. Elect a leader. I recommend young Master Jin Changshen. He has the ability to lead us forward. An elder immediately stood up and said, "Jin Chongqing is just a playboy. What ability can he have? I agree with recommending young Master Jin Fei to be the leader." Another elder said, "I also support young Master Jin Fei. Young Master Jin Fei is strong. He is already at the mystic adept realm. Among all the adopted sons, he is the strongest. If he doesn't become the leader, who else can? Young Master Jin Fei is the adopted son that the leader values. Since he is valued, he must have something important. With the help of Landlord Yang and Landlord Shin, there won't be a problem." The scene was noisy, just like a market. Lin Fei couldn't help but shake his head. It seemed that everywhere was a pugilistic world. Big pugilistic world, small pugilistic world. For this position, they were no different from shrews quarreling on the street. "Are you disappointed?" Jean Feng's face was expressionless, but a trace of helplessness flashed in her eyes. None of the elders mentioned her name, as if she had been forgotten. Being a woman is indeed not as useful as being a man. Lin Fei understood the helplessness in Jean Feng's heart. Whether it was on Earth or in the Xiantian continent, everyone's opinion was the same. This was vividly displayed from the quarrel in the meeting hall. Being a woman was indeed not very useful sometimes. Just like the ancient emperors, only Wu Zetian could be a female emperor, who said that being a woman is not as useful as being a man. Lin Fei said, I feel that you will be very awe-inspiring and powerful as the first female leader. At this time, Yang Kai spoke. The deputy leader spoke, and the meeting hall quieted down. Everyone has been discussing for so long, competing with each other. I wonder if everyone has forgotten one thing? They are adopted sons. Although adopted sons are not real sons, the bloodline of the leader has been passed down. Have you forgotten about Miss Jean Feng? She is the next leader. Yang Kai didn't say anything, but once he did, he got to the point. He brought up Jean Feng and wanted to see what the others had to say. Although everyone knew that Yang Kai had always been the right-hand man of Jean Yang, they didn't expect that he would stand out to support Jean Feng. In the eyes of the elders, they were disgusted by a woman being the leader. They didn't like a woman standing above them, so they chose to ignore it. Now that Yang Kai, the deputy leader, proposed it, the situation was completely different. They were forced to give an answer. Everyone looked at each other, seeming to know that this topic was not easy to answer. Elders, I think it's more appropriate for me to take the position of Tower Master. Jean Fei suddenly stood up. In terms of strength, I am the strongest among all the adopted sons. As for my sister Jean, she is not as good as me. At the same time, I am also the most valued adopted son of my adoptive father. This position must belong to me. Everyone was in an uproar. Jean Fei was the most powerful among the adopted sons. He stood out in this situation, which showed how confident he was and how he didn't care about others. Jean Fei, you are an adopted son, and I am also an adopted son. Why should you be the leader? One of the adopted sons stood up and glared at Jean Fei. Jean Fei sneered, because of my strength. Boom! Behind Jean Fei, a figure quickly flew out. It was Jean Fei's adoptive son. He didn't even make a sound and died, leaving behind a bloody smell. This is my strength. Jean Fei looked around and felt a sense of achievement. You dare to kill! The elders behind the adopted son finally glared at him. In the internal conflict of the Golden Breeze Drizzle building, the adopted son was the card that the elders had the most confidence in. Now that he was killed, it meant that they had lost the chance. Because the adopted sons that were chosen from the adopted sons were all strong and had a certain influence. As for the weaker ones, they were all abandoned. It was conceivable that the death of such an adopted son meant that the elders had lost a qualification. If they were to find another adopted son, they would have already lost. How could they be willing to accept this? Elder Mo, there's no need to be angry. I think Jing Fei is right. The position of Tower Master needs a person with courage. Jing Fei is very courageous. He's just an adopted son. Why should he be like this? Shin Sanbao opened his mouth. His voice was calm, but he was helping Jing Fei. Uproar, in fact. After the death of the Golden Sun building master, Shin Sanbao had never said anything or expressed anything. No one could guess who he would support. In the end, no one had expected that he would support Jing Fei. Unexpected, very unexpected. The group of elders and deacons finally understood why Jing Fei dared to kill in public. It turned out that Shen Sanbao, the vice building master, was supporting him. As for killing, it was just a small matter. Resist, how to resist? Even Yang Kai was surprised. Sanbao, didn't you say that you would support Miss Jean yesterday? Shin Sanbao said faintly, as if he didn't feel angry at all. About last night's matter, I have thought about it for a long time. According to tradition, I should support Miss Jean because she is the daughter of the Tower Master. However, as the Vice Tower Master, I hope that the successor of the Tower Master should be the adopted son that Jean Yang thinks highly of. The Golden Breeze Drizzle building needs a charismatic adopted son, and I think that Jing Fei is very suitable, much more suitable than Miss Jean. Yang Kai stood up with a swoosh and pointed at Shin Sanbao. Good Shin Sanbao, you repay kindness with enmity. That year, when you were in danger, it was the building master who saved your life. That year, it was the building master who brought you up from the bottom. That year, it was the building master who gave you a chance. How dare you do this today? Shen Sanbao didn't have any expression on his face. He laughed loudly and said, I really want to thank the building master. If it wasn't for the building master, I wouldn't be here today. However, I still have the same opinion when it comes to choosing the building master. I won't change my mind because of anyone. Yang Kai didn't expect that Shen Sanbao would be so shameless. He promised yesterday, but today he changed his mind and chose to elect Jing Fei as the building master. He was indeed cheated. You support Jing Fei, but I don't agree at all. I still have the same opinion. The building master of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building must be Miss Jean. She is the most suitable person. Yang Kai refused. When one of the two deputy building masters was chosen, all the elders knew that they had lost the opportunity. They had lost the real opportunity. The position of the building master would be chosen between Jing Fei and Jin Feng. From the bottom of their hearts, they hoped that Jing Fei could inherit this position, because only Jing Fei had the qualification. Lin Fei saw everything with his own eyes. He was not surprised at all about this change. There were many tricks in the small Jianghu, and this might be one of them. Sister Jean, this position should be mine. Since you are my sister, you can leave by yourself. Otherwise, everyone will feel bad. Jing Fei jumped out. He was beaming with joy as if he could see the position under him. Dream on. Jin Feng gritted her teeth and said, How can an ungrateful wolf be the building master? Jing Fei's face flashed with anger, but he restrained himself and said, Everyone has a judgment on who should be the building master. It is better to let them decide who should be the building master. Don't you think this is the most fair? Chapter 296. P.S. Thank you to Wandering Dragon Merchant and Bok for your monthly votes. From Shen Sanbao's words, fairness no longer existed. Especially after Yang Kai's words, no one understood what was going on. It would be strange if they didn't. In just one night, the situation had changed dramatically. It was conceivable what was going on. I agree with the election. I also agree with the election. I believe everyone's eyes are clear. Everyone should choose the one who will be the next floor master. Let's vote together. Whoever has the most votes will be the next president. Among the people present, some elders stood up and called for the election by voting. Lin Fei saw something fishy in it. If even a person like the deputy pavilion master could change his mind in a single night, then it was not impossible for these elders to change their minds. As such, one did not need to think to know what the result would be. Jin Feng was bound to lose. Lin Fei glanced at Jin Feng secretly and found that there was no anger on her face. He couldn't help but feel surprised. Could it be that she had another trump card? There is no need for the election. Jin Feng stood up and said, The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building is supported by my father. Of course, it is inseparable from all of you. As for my father's adopted sons, none of them has the right to be elected. She rejected all the adopted sons in one sentence. Jin Fei was unhappy. You rejected us in one sentence. Who gave you such a big right? Jin Feng said indifferently, It is the right that my father gave me. Do you want me to decide? Fortunately, my father left something for me. Otherwise, all of you would have flown up to the sky. Then, Golden Phoenix took out a golden token from her body. As soon as the token was taken out, everyone's heart sank. This is the token of the previous building masters of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. Do you have anything else to say now? Jin Feng said lightly. All the elders and deacons looked gloomy. In the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, no matter which generation the building master was, he must have a token to become the building master. Building Master Yang, this is the will that my father gave me. Now you can announce it in public. I believe that all the elders will understand what I just said. Uproar. No one had expected that even though the Golden Sun Tower Master was dead, he had left behind a backup plan. At this moment, it seemed that Jing Fei's advantage was completely gone. The previous floor master had left behind his will, and at the same time he left behind the token that was necessary to become a floor master. Jin Feng became the next tower master. At the side, Lin Fei was also slightly startled. He did not expect Xiao Qin to be hiding such a move. No wonder he was not worried. However, Lin Fei still didn't think it was optimistic. With the gold medallion and a will, she seemed to be in an invulnerable position. Unfortunately, Jin Feng had forgotten one thing, and that was that the Golden Sun Tower Master was no longer around. How many people would be willing to abide by the rules? This was a sore spot. As expected, after a moment of silence, Jing Fei raised his voice again and laughed. Miss Jean, you want to become the Tower Master with just a gold medal and a will? Don't you think too highly of yourself? In that case, I'll also go make a gold medal and a will. Won't I be the owner then? As for Jing Fei, who was going to become the Tower Master, he absolutely could not agree to it. The moment he opened his mouth, he slandered the gold medal and the will. Jing Fei, who allowed you to talk nonsense? Yang Kai said angrily. The aura of a mystic spirit realm expert pressed against him. Hong, another aura, also rushed up and blocked Yang Kai's pressure. The one who made the move was Shin Sanbao. Yang Kai, why are you doing this? Shin Sanbao shook his head. Yang Kai took a step forward. Are you going to defy the Tower Master's will? Then you don't take the Golden Breeze, Drizzle Building's rules seriously. Since you are such a person, why should I be merciful? Shin Sanbao sneered. Yang Kai, everyone here knows that Jing Fei is the best candidate to inherit the Tower Master's position. If you continue to be stubborn, then you are going against the next Tower Master. Then I don't mind making a move against you. The two giants finally shed all pretense of cordiality. Yang Kai looked around. You are all the elders of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. You all know who is going to be the Tower Master. Now, with the Tower Master's will, those who are willing to let Miss Jean become the Tower Master, please stand up. Shin Sanbao said, if you want to know the result, then see with your own eyes how many people support Miss Jean. Only a few elders stood up, but they sat down again midway. A crushing defeat. A real crushing defeat. Even Yang Kai did not expect that the result would be like this. Elder Wang Tao, can you tell me why this is the case? Yang Kai looked at an elder in front of him, who was the punishment elder of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. I think Jing Fei is more suitable to lead the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building to continue to develop. Elder Wang Tao was obviously guilty and did not dare to look at Yang Kai's eyes. Jin Feng's body shook slightly, and it seemed that she had suffered a big blow. Lin Fei gently helped Jin Feng, and he could feel a sense of disappointment. It could be said that her heart was hurt. Her father's body was not cold, and such a big thing happened. It was not easy to accept. Don't be sad, I am here. Lin Fei gently comforted her. Jin Feng had indeed suffered a great blow. Under her resolute appearance, there was also a fragile heart, especially at this time. I said that I, Jing Fei, am the one who is most valued by my adoptive father. It is reasonable that I should be the next Tower Master. Jing Fei said arrogantly at this time. Shin Sanbao glanced at him, and there was a trace of dissatisfaction in his eyes. He thought, this kind of person can only be a puppet. Fortunately, almost all the elders in the gang have been bribed. Otherwise, it would be really dangerous today. Yang Kai, do you understand now? Shan Sanbao said to Yang Kai, it seems that I should announce the result. Miss Jean, whom you support, has lost. No, who said she has lost? Yang Kai said angrily, if I don't agree, do you think the result will be effective? Don't forget, the Tower Master has the right to veto. Shen Sanbao seemed to have expected this. He shook his head. They are prepared to fight to the end. Then we can only let the Great Elder judge. The Great Elder. No one expected that the Great Elder of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building would come out, because everyone knew that the Great Elder always appeared and disappeared mysteriously. In the eyes of outsiders, the Golden Sun building master was the #1 expert. They did not know that the Great Elder was the real #1 expert. After 2 generations of building masters, he had the highest seniority in the gang. It could be said that the Great Elder's decision was equivalent to the final decision. Outside the gate, a gray-robed old man stepped in and appeared in the meeting hall. "Greetings, Great Elder." Everyone lowered their heads. In front of the Great Elder, no one dared to show any disrespect, because the Great Elder's previous position was the punishment elder of the gang. It could be said that he was hot-tempered. I'm old, get up." His loud voice was like a big bell ringing in everyone's heart for a long time. The gray-robed old man's eyes turned and fell on Jean Fong. "I remember the last time I saw you, you were still a little girl. I did not expect you to grow up so fast." Jean Feng's eyes turned red. "Greetings, Great Elder." Jean Fong still had an impression of the Great Elder because her father was able to become the Tower Master because of the Great Elder's push from behind. Only then was he able to stand out and become the Tower Master. "Your father died. This old man is also very sad. Now that your father's body is not cold, it is really not right for the gang to do such a thing." His voice was calm, but there was a hint of anger in it. However, every family has their own difficulties. "Xiaofeng, you have to be considerate. You should give up the position of Tower Master." Jean Fong showed bitterness, as if the ending was already decided. The Great Elder had already announced the result. No one could change it, unless they wanted to offend the Great Elder. In the Golden Breeze Drizzle building, the Great Elder was the real stabilizing force. The gray-robed old man looked around again. "Xiaofeng will not compete for this position, but if anyone dares to do something sneaky, don't blame this Great Elder for being merciless and killing you." The latter sentence was a warning to everyone present, which was tantamount to adding a life-saving talisman to Jean Fong. No one dared to touch Jean Fong. This was the only thing the Great Elder could do. Jean Fong shed tears. For some reason, Lin Fei felt a surge of anger when he saw this. "Xiaofeng, do you want to take this position?" Jean Fong was anxious, but what would Lin Fei do? "Don't mess around. The Great Elder has spoken. I can't change anything." Lin Fei shook his head. "This is not what you want to say. If you want to take this position, as long as you say it, I will help you. You don't have to worry about me. Do you remember what I said that night?" Lin Fei's voice was not concealed at all, because there was no need to conceal it. Naturally, this voice fell into everyone's ears. When she saw the sickly-looking middle-aged man, she actually couldn't recognize him. Who was this person? How could he appear next to Jean Fong? From his tone, it seemed that this position was as easy as lifting a finger to him. With the Great Elder here, no one dared to say anything. "Your Excellency, who are you? Are you trying to bewitch Miss Jean? Are you trying to confuse people here?" Shin Sanbao sneered. "Go away. You have no right to speak here." Lin Fei turned around and slapped Shin Sanbao without saying a word. The violent True Yuan aura was like a tidal wave. Even though Shin Sanbao was at the cryptic spirit level, he was still sent flying by this furious slap. The meeting hall was turned into a pile of rubble. Hiss! Everyone present stood up with their mouths agape. They were all scared out of their wits. What the hell was going on? When did Jean Fong find such a helper? Even Lord Shin Sanbao was not a match for him. He was slapped out in one slap, and he could not even block it. His strength was simply too tyrannical. Chapter 297. Shocking. Everyone was shocked. Especially the arrogant Jing Fei. He was dumbfounded. Shin Sanbao, a mystic spirit expert, was sent flying by a single slap. How powerful was that? How could Jean Fong have such a helper? Was God not on her side? Jing Fei felt that all his ambitions had collapsed in an instant. In front of such powerful strength, he became so fragile. Everyone was shocked. Their backs were drenched in cold sweat. If that slap had landed on them, they wouldn't have dared to think about it. After hearing that it was a close friend, everyone's heart turned cold again. They couldn't digest this news, no matter what. With the appearance of such a powerful expert, the situation was going to be different today. Lin Fei sent Shen Sanbao flying with a slap, as if he had done something insignificant. Xiao Feng, I'm waiting for your word. Uncle will help you, Lin Fei said lightly, but no one dared to doubt his words. Jean Feng was a smart girl. After hearing Lin Fei's words, she finally understood why she said that last night. Lin Fei was already so powerful, but she still treated him like a child. Uncle, this position was passed down by my father. It shouldn't fall into the hands of an outsider. I hope Uncle can help me. Jean Feng didn't give up. She agreed, because Lin Fei's slap had given Jean Feng enough support and confidence. Shen Sanbao's strength was at the mystic spirit middle stage. In the Golden Breeze Drizzle building, he was only slightly weaker than the Golden Sun building master. In order to send someone flying, one must have the strength of the mystic spirit Great Circle. As for the strength of a King Realm expert, it was unimaginable. In the Mountain River City, it was unknown whether there were any King Realm experts. Only a few people knew. Lin Fei smiled and said, "This position was yours in the first place. They are just a few unimportant foster sons. They are just ingrates that cannot be raised properly. If you are angry when you see them, then go and accompany your foster father." "What are you doing?" Hearing this, Jing Fei and the other foster sons' faces changed. This man wanted to kill them. Bang, 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 Lin Fei pointed out with a finger, and a strong wind swept out. No matter how the adopted sons tried to defend themselves, their heads exploded like watermelons. The smell of blood filled the air, leaving behind several lifeless corpses. Lin Fei didn't have a good impression of his godson, so what if he killed them? He could vent his anger. In any case, it was better to kill them than to keep the ingrates alive. "Sir, this is the Golden Breeze Drizzle building. Do you have any respect for me?" The gray-clothed first elder revealed an ugly expression. The fact that Shen Sanbao was sent flying was already embarrassing enough. Now that his adopted sons had been killed, it could be said that no one could sit in this position. Only Jean Feng was qualified to sit in this position. Lin Fei laughed heartily. "Great elder, I see that you've been in seclusion for too long that your brain is starting to rust. Isn't it because women can't be tower masters? Why do you have to find such a reason? Back then, you could let Jean Feng's father take the position, and now you can do it again. Isn't it because Jean Feng is a woman?" The gray-clothed first elder was at the peak cryptic spirit realm, but facing this sickly middle-aged man he was still afraid, especially when he killed his adopted sons with a finger. That dangerous aura even made him feel threatened. If it was an ordinary person with the first elder's temper, he would have mercilessly killed him. At this moment he could only blush. How could Lin Fei not know that this was a patriarchal mindset? It was the most common one on earth. No matter how powerful a woman was, she had no status. Moreover, stepping on their heads made the first elder uncomfortable, so he decisively chose Jean Fei. Of course, there would inevitably be some benefits to be distributed. "Sir, are you going to intervene in the gang's matters?" Lin Fei raised his eyebrows and pointed at the first elder. "I respect you as the first elder, so I'm polite. Looking at your appearance, it seems that you don't want Jean Feng to be the tower master. I think you're asking for a beating. I rarely hit old people. If you insist on doing things the wrong way, then don't blame me for beating you until even your mother can't recognize you." Everyone was scared by these words. How could this person be so rude? He had the aura of a bandit. No one dared to speak, because there was a matter ahead. "Bastard, die for me." Shen Sanbao, who had been slapped away, rushed in from outside. His hair was disheveled, and he was in a sorry state. He rushed in like a madman, his true yuan exploding out, heading straight for Lin Feng, raising heaven finger. Ever since Shen Sanbao became the Tower Master, he had never lost face like this, being slapped away in front of everyone. This kind of embarrassing thing had never happened before. Therefore, he rushed in from outside and attacked without caring about anything else. Lin Fei's eyes turned cold, courting death. In the Death Desert, Lin Fei no longer cared about cryptic spirit experts, not to mention a mid-cryptic spirit realm one. Wong! A broken sword flew out. It was the Netherworld sword. It cut the raising heaven finger apart, turning it into nothingness. The Netherworld sword's momentum did not stop. With a flash of cold light, Shin Sanbao was cut into several pieces. Only then did it fly back, leaving behind a pile of broken pieces on the ground. Tower Master Shin Sanbao was dead. Everyone couldn't help sucking in a breath of cold air. The Tower Master was still alive and kicking, but in an instant he had died. It was like a dream. The eyes that looked at Lin Fei were filled with fear. Even Tower Master Shin Sanbao had died so quickly, let alone them. Even the head elder's face sank. He could kill a mid-cryptic spirit realm expert, but to kill one so easily he could not do it. This person was stronger than him. The head elder had already made a judgment in his heart. This person was very strong enough to make him feel a deep sense of dread. Lin Fei killing Shin Sanbao also had a reason. It was to let everyone understand that if he could kill a Vice Tower Master, then there was no need to mention you elders. Killing you would be as easy as slaughtering chickens and sheep. AI, there are always people looking for death, wanting to follow in the Tower Master's footsteps. It just so happens that I'll send him down. You are all here. Who else wants to follow the Tower Master? Just say it, and I'll send you down for free. Lin Fei's cold eyes looked around. No one dared to look him in the eye, because they were all frightened. Was Cryptic Spirit Realm so strong that anyone could kill him? Resist? Forget it. Even the head elder did not make a move. If they made a move, they would only be asking for trouble. Only fools would do it. Xiaofeng, I lost control of my anger just now and killed him. You won't mind, right? Lin Fei turned his head and said. Jean Feng did not know why, but it was as if she had found someone to rely on. Uncle, don't blame yourself. Uncle Shin did it to follow in my father's footsteps. I think my father will be happy. Don't you think so, uncles? None of the elders present dared to say anything. If they were killed, they would be dumbfounded. At this time, they had already lost their temper, because they were all frightened. Going against such a strong person, wasn't it the same as asking for death? They had not lived long enough, and their thoughts were constantly changing. Miss Jean was also very suitable to be the Tower Master. Why couldn't she be? Tower Master Shin died for a reason. Miss Jean is righteous. All kinds of flattering words came one after another. At this moment, they were like grass on the wall. After experiencing that scene, they were already frightened birds. Among them, Yang Kai was the most shocked. The Tower Master had left such a trump card, which turned the situation around in one fell swoop. Moreover, he had killed several adopted sons, Shin Sanbao, and suppressed the head elder. It was simply incredible. Great Elder, can I be the Tower Master now? Jean Feng walked up and said to the Great Elder. The Great Elder regretted coming out today. He even encountered a difficult opponent, whose strength might be at the Cryptic Spirit Great Circle, or even stronger than him. Just now, when he asked Jean Feng to give up being the Tower Master, he said it in a reasonable manner. Now he was going to agree. Wasn't that a slap in the face? Moreover, it was a slap in the face. It was like swallowing a fly. At this time, the Great Elder could not wait to slap Shin Sanbao to death. Unfortunately, he was already dead, leaving behind a pile of corpses on the ground. It seems that this Great Elder is not very willing. Destroy! Rumble! Suddenly, a huge golden millstone appeared above the crowd. The will of destruction came crushing down. Everyone was suppressed, unable to breathe. Cold sweat flowed down, as if they would die at any moment. Many of the weaker people were crushed on the ground, unable to get up. Boom! The huge millstone crushed down, heading straight for the Great Elder. Lin Fei did not care whether you were the Great Elder or not. If you were not the Great Elder, he would kill you on the spot. Crack! Everything around the Great Elder was mercilessly crushed into pieces. As a great perfection, realm, profound, spirit, Grand Elder, when faced with this gigantic millstone, the intent of destruction locked onto his body. His astral chi protection was actually unable to withstand it and was continuously shattering. If the other party wanted to kill him, the Great Elder's entire body was drenched in cold sweat. This old man agrees, this old man agrees. This gigantic millstone was used by Lin Fei to scare people. Any words would be meaningless. However, in the face of strength, words were the real deal. As the Great Elder, he had to lower his head when facing someone stronger than him. Crash! The golden millstone disappeared, and so did the will of destruction. It was as if it had never been there. It was as if the sky had cleared up. If not for the ruins left on the scene, it would have been the best proof. Against the will of destruction, the floor and tables of the meeting hall were all turned into pieces. This was a result that no one had expected. The trump card left by the Golden Phoenix Tower Lord had shattered all their thoughts. They were just a little bit away from death. This fear left an indelible mark in their hearts. It had to be said that from then on, no one dared to look down on the Golden Phoenix Tower. They became respectful, and nothing similar happened again. After Lin Fei dispersed the millstone, he went out with the Great Elder. As for what the two talked about, no one knew. However, everyone noticed that the Great Elder's attitude had changed a lot. Chapter 298. P.S. Thank Luo Yuxuan for the reward of 588 Qijin coins. It was a foregone conclusion that Jin Feng would become the new tower master of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. No one dared to say anything. Since the Great Elder had agreed, how could they not agree? Wasn't it an obvious thing to do? If the mysterious middle-aged man got angry, they would not have a good ending. Moreover, Shin Sanbao was dead, and the Great Elder was almost suppressed. What were they? They were nothing. They had to accept the reality. It was not a bad thing to have such a strong person. Jin Feng felt like she was dreaming. The unreachable position had become a thing under her. She could not help but shed tears of excitement. It turned out that it was such a simple thing to turn the situation around. In the face of powerful strength, any conspiracy was like the moon in the mirror. It would break and become a thing of the past. I declare that the next Tower Master is Miss Jin Feng. As the Great Elder's voice faded, the position of Tower Master, which had been fought over, was thus settled amidst the bloodshed. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building also had its first female Tower Master. Under such circumstances, Jin Feng became the first female Tower Master, which was beyond everyone's imagination. As the saying goes, a new emperor, a new minister. With Jin Feng becoming the Tower Master, plus such a strong person and the support of the Great Elder, they did not dare to play any tricks. As for the elders who disapproved of it before, they regretted it now. If there was no medicine for regret in the world, they would not offend Jin Feng. If she bore a grudge against them, they would have a hard time in the future. When Jin Feng sat down, she became the first female Tower Master of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. The internal strife in the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building finally ended. When Jin Feng sat down, she looked at Lin Fei with gratitude. Jin Feng knew that without Lin Fei's help, she would not have the current position. She was grateful to Lin Fei from the bottom of her heart. Perhaps the elders would not be so polite to her. I will not let you down, Jin Feng said to herself in her heart firmly. Although Jin Feng was a woman, she was as bold as a man when it came to doing things. First of all, she replaced several important positions with her own people. As for those who were replaced, they did not dare to say anything. The first elder was present, unless they wanted to find trouble. Moreover, they could not find an excuse to refute the reason put forward by Jin Feng. He placed his own men in important positions, and at the same time, he guarded all the foster children. Everything was done in an orderly manner. It seemed that he had already calculated everything. Great Elder, Little Feng's performance was pretty good, right? Lin Fei stood together with the first elder and asked with a smile. After the two of them went out for a while, when they returned, the great elder was no longer as angry as before. On the contrary, he became polite. Little Feng is indeed very courageous. I believe that the Golden Breeze Drizzle building will continue to develop in her hands. The great elder's tone was respectful, because he was not a match for this middle-aged man at all. He was worthy of putting down his status and identity. That was because, in the eyes of experts, his status was nothing at all. The position of great elder was just that. Little Feng is not sensible. I will need great elder to take care of her in this aspect. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes. His meaning was very simple. He wanted to assist Jin Feng. With such a great elder in charge, no one would dare to act rashly. The great elder had been in seclusion all year round and rarely came out to assist anyone. If it was in the past, he would definitely not agree. But now it was different. He nodded and actually agreed. These 200,000 pure essence pills are worth it. Lin Fei laughed in his heart. Even if you are the great elder, you can't resist the temptation of pure essence pills. Right after Jin Feng became the building master, a disciple rushed in from outside the meeting hall in a hurry. Elders, it's not good. A large group of people from Tianxia came outside, saying that they want to marry Miss Jin. This disciple obviously did not notice Jin Feng, who was sitting in the seat of honor. Outrageous. Tianxia is too much. Building master, we can't let this matter go. It's obvious that Tianxia wants to swallow our Golden Breeze Drizzle building. Shameless, too shameless. The group of elders was seething with anger. The previous conflict had been swept away. With the great elder and a master overseeing, they were naturally full of confidence. They couldn't wait to go up and fight, to show off the Golden Breeze Drizzle building strength. Everyone looked at Jin Feng. Don't worry, I'll support you from behind. Lin Fei's voice suddenly sounded in Jin Feng's ears. She looked up and saw Lin Fei nodding at her, injecting a stream of energy into her. Humph, everyone, follow me outside to take a look. Jin Feng stood up and walked out of the meeting hall. This action made the elders' hearts jump with joy, who said that the Golden Phoenix Pavilion's head was less courageous than a man. Facing Tianxia, she did not show any fear. Outside the Golden Breeze Drizzle building's main entrance, the situation was tense, especially since many people from Tianxia had come, carrying boxes of things wrapped in red cloth. These were obviously betrothal gifts. Just as expected, the eldest young master of Tianxia had brought his people to deliver betrothal gifts. Tianxia, which boasted 100,000 members, was not stingy at all when it came to betrothal gifts. Everyone was dazzled by the number of betrothal gifts. Tianxia's eldest young master really came. I wonder what will happen to the Golden Breeze Drizzle building this time. If the Golden Sun building's head was here, Tianxia wouldn't dare to be so aggressive. Recently, the Golden Breeze Drizzle building has been suppressed badly. I'm afraid they would agree to Tianxia's marriage. I heard that the Golden Breeze Drizzle building is going to elect a new master today. Tianxia must be here to elect a new master. The Golden Sun building's head died at a bad time. Now, Tianxia is going to dominate the Mountain River City. Their forces are expanding rapidly. If the Golden Breeze Drizzle building doesn't take any action, I'm afraid it's hard to say. The Golden Breeze Drizzle building's internal power struggle is very fierce. I heard that their adopted sons are not simple people. Outside the Golden Breeze Drizzle building, a group of people had gathered and were discussing with each other. Now, what was the most important thing in the Mountain River City was the competition between the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building and Tianxia. Would Tianxia swallow the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, or would the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building continue to stand strong? This became a matter that everyone was guessing and concerned about. Privately, they guessed that the chances of Tianxia swallowing the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building was very high. After the Golden Sun Building's head died, the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building's strength had been greatly reduced. Many experts had died. Otherwise, they wouldn't have retreated and been constantly suppressed by Tianxia. Now, they had personally come to fetch the bride. In the past, they wouldn't have dared to do such an unreasonable thing. From the clues, it could be seen that Tianxia was the general trend. It was only a matter of time before they swallowed the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. If the marriage was successful today, then the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building would definitely lose. Tianxia would have found an excuse. With an excuse, everything would be logical. On the surface, they had already obtained the excuse. All that was left was to annex the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. They could easily bring the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building into Tianxia. Everyone was concerned about how the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building would deal with this matter. Agree? Refuse? From the current situation of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, the former was the most likely. Congratulations, young master, for marrying a beautiful wife. In front of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, Qin Ting, the young master, was in a good mood. He was sitting on his demonic beast, and his face was full of pride. After all, the daughter of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building was pretty. In the Mountain River City, many people wanted to have a taste of her, but Qin Ting was the first one. How could he not be happy? I heard that this Golden Phoenix has a strong character and is very hot. It should be very fun to play with her. Qin Ting smiled obscenely. It was obvious that he didn't take the marriage seriously. If young master says it's fun, then it's definitely fun. No matter how powerful the daughter is, she can do whatever she wants with young master. Qin Ding, the bodyguard, flattered. The people we've arranged should be working, right? Qin Ting asked. Qin Ding said, if nothing goes wrong, that dog, Jean Fei, will become the building master of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. Qin Ting said with satisfaction, that's good. This is an important step. There can't be any accidents. As long as that dog, Jean Fei, becomes the building master, we, Tianxia, will be able to take the opportunity to plant our people there. In less than half a year, we will control the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building and make it a vassal force of Tianxia. The people of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building are coming out. How could it be her? When Jean Feng, who was walking in the front, walked out, the people outside suddenly quieted down. Under normal circumstances, it shouldn't be a girl walking in the front, especially when everyone knew this girl. She was Jean Yang's daughter, Jean Feng. Obviously, they didn't care so much at this time. As for guessing who would become the building master, no one could guess it at all. That was because men took care of the outside world and women took care of the inside world. There were several forces in the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, and they were constantly fighting. It was extremely difficult for Jean Feng to become the building master, unless the sun rose from the west. Everyone thought it was arranged by the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building to welcome them. They chose to agree, so they let Jean Feng walk in the front. This result was within their expectations. It was not surprising. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building's strength had been greatly damaged, and it would be difficult for them to resist Tianxia. Miss Jean, are you coming out to welcome your future husband in person? Qin Ting laughed, not realizing that something was wrong. But Qin Ding, who was next to him, noticed something was wrong, because a familiar figure had disappeared. How dare you? This is the new building master of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. An elder stood out and said angrily. There was an uproar. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. Building master? She was chosen so quickly, and it was a girl. This, in fact, what they wanted to say was that it was too fast. It wasn't even noon yet, and the OP had already been chosen. Now, everyone finally understood why Jean Feng walked in the front. She was the building master, and she had this right, not because she was forced to do so. Dumbfounded and tongue-tied were the main expressions of the crowd. How can you be the building master? What about Jing Fei? Isn't he the building master? Chun Ting was shocked. To be exact, he was shocked. He subconsciously blurted out, in order to make Jing Fei the new building master, Chun Ting had used a lot of resources to bribe some elders of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, and prepared to support Jing Fei at the critical moment. Among them, there was also the giant Shin Sanbao, the deputy building master. It was certain that Jing Fei would become the building master. Jin Feng's face turned cold. The Jing Fei you mentioned has been killed. How can an ingrate like him be qualified to be the building master? I'm afraid young Master Chen's idea will be in vain. Chun Ting's face darkened. He knew that he had revealed something that he shouldn't have said, but he didn't care much about it. After all, the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building couldn't do anything to him. He was decisive and didn't want to continue this matter. Then, I have to congratulate Building Master Jean. Chun Ting smiled and said, Today we can have double happiness. This is my betrothal gift. Let's do it now. Today I will marry you. Let's have a double happiness. Chun Ting chose to ignore Jing Fei's matter. Jing Fei was already dead. In addition, he couldn't see Shin Sanbao. Naturally, he knew that there was an internal problem. He was a step late. His heart was filled with hatred. The ingrate was really not a good thing. The tables were turned so quickly, and that Shin Sanbao, he had received so many benefits from me, but he didn't know how to do things. Young Master Chen, what do you mean? When did this building master agree to marry you? Jean Feng said coldly, If there is nothing else, young Master Chen can leave now. Chun Ting was shocked again. Was she trying to send him away? This girl dared to refuse him. Didn't she know the current situation of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building? Building Master Jean, my young master admires you and wants to marry you. Are you willing? This was promised by Building Master Shin. Do you want to go back on your words? Chin Ding's guard said fiercely. Building Master Shin is no longer the building master. What happened before doesn't count. Jean Feng didn't say that Shin Sanbao was dead. It wouldn't be good for the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. Chun Ting's temper wasn't good. It wasn't easy for him to say these words today. In addition, Tianxia's power was expanding rapidly. As a young master of Tianxia, his status was rising. He was in a bad mood. So you're saying that this young master's trip is going to be in vain? If young Master Chen wants to think so, you can think so. Jean Feng said. Chun Ting clapped his hands and said, It seems that Building Master Jean is ready to go all the way. No one has ever dared to refuse me when I personally come to fetch a bride. Even if you are the building master, I will still bring you back today. Chin Ding, go and take her back. Yes. Chin Ding nodded. He rushed out like a ghost. He grabbed Jean Feng with one hand and said, No one can escape from my hands. You should obediently be the young master's wife. Snatching a wife. Chen Ting's move was vicious. Chapter 299. P.S. Thank you, Luo Yuxuan, for the tip. Congratulations on becoming the first deacon. Thank you, Yan Xianrong, for the monthly vote. The attacker was very fast. Chan Ding had the strength of cryptic middle stage, so he had the confidence to speak. With a single grab, the true Yuan swept across, causing the nearby warriors to feel pain on their cheeks. So fast! The crowd could not help but exclaim. Chen Ding's face was already showing a sinister smile. A mere master of Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. This was a piece of cake. Xiao, with a light sound, a green wind blade slashed through the air. Chin Ding snorted coldly. His claw slammed onto the green wind blade, trying to shatter it. In his eyes, a mere attack could stop him. Dream on. Boom! He grabbed onto the green wind blade. Who would have thought that the green wind blade would turn into a cold light, slicing through the attack and turning into a green cold light? Chinding's face darkened. He struck out 2 giant claws from his left and right. Each claw was powerful, hitting the green wind blade. Such a fierce attack could not be dispelled, and the green wind blade did not move an inch. How could this be? 2 attacks, but the green wind blade did not even move an inch. My life is over. The green wind blade swept past, and Chinding's personal guard was cut in half. He fell from the air and became a corpse. Chinding. Ting's face was as black as charcoal. He could not help but exclaim, Who killed my personal guard? As a personal guard, Chinding's strength was at cryptic middle stage. He had always been Ting's right-hand man. Many things that could not be seen in the light were all handled by Chinding. Losing a right-hand man and a cryptic middle stage at that, it would be strange if Ting did not feel the pain. This piece of trash wants to snatch people. You, a young master, have the nerve to speak? A sickly middle-aged man walked out, his face full of disdain. This person was Lin Fei. From the moment Chinding made his move, Lin Fei blasted out a wind blade that was as hard as steel, killing the opponent mercilessly. Ting, the young master, almost vomited blood. He cursed in his heart. Damn it, a cryptic spirit middle stage expert is trash? It's easy for you to say that. You're just a bully. Chinding's strength was ranked among the top in Tianxia. Now that he was killed in one move, Ting, the young master, felt his heart ache. At the same time, his face was filled with anger. Sir, who exactly are you? Despite his anger, Ting still retained his rationality. Haha, of course I'm here to beat you up. She's Jingyang's old friend's niece. And you even dared to touch her. As his good friend, I can't just watch and not do anything. Since you actually dared to come and steal the bride today, you don't have to leave. Lin Fei said calmly as he looked at Ting, the young master. Ting's heart sank. He hadn't expected Jingyang to have such an expert as a friend. He had even suppressed his cultivation to confuse everyone. Ting was filled with regret. I am the young master of Tianxia. Could it be that you wish to make life difficult for Tianxia? Ting said sternly, I'll give you a word of advice. Offending us, Tianxia will not end well. Lin Fei laughed loudly. I'm not afraid of anything. I love to look for trouble. Isn't your Tianxia very powerful? I'll start with you. Boom! Lin Fei casually raised his hand, and an azure wind blade appeared. It was more than 300 meters long, and it was a flowing azure light. The sharp sword qi spread out on the street like a spiderweb on the hard limestone floor. Everyone felt a huge pressure from this green wind blade. It was as if they couldn't survive this attack. Block it for me. As a mystic adept, Ting's eyes flashed with a hint of fear. His killing intent sword. Walala, walala, the green wind blade swept across. All of Ting's subordinates were killed by the green wind blade, leaving behind a ground full of broken limbs and fresh blood. As the young master of Tianxia, Ting immediately took out an item. It was a piece of runes. He placed it in front of him, and a white runes formation appeared. You're dead. You actually want to kill me. Ting's face turned sinister. I've already informed the experts in the sect. I'll make sure you die a horrible death. When the cyan wind blade landed on the array, a stream of light appeared on the surface of the array, blocking the attack. Even so, young Master Ting was still overwhelmed with shock. Ting was very clear about the power of this runes formation. It had blocked many people's attacks. When the green wind blade descended, the formation actually showed signs of being unable to block it. How powerful was that person? A pretty good tortoiseshell. It's a pity that you're going to die today. No one has ever survived to snatch someone in front of me. You're the same. Rumble. 2 green wind blades on the left and right, 2 green flowing lights, one on the left and one on the right, circled around the formation array, as if they were cutting it. With a rumble, the formation array broke apart with a crash. Chun Ting was only at the mystic, adept, great perfection realm. Facing the 2 green flowing lights, he let out a miserable cry and fought against the rune's formation. Silence. The scene was as silent as a mountain. Oh my God, the Golden Breeze drizzle building actually killed young Master Chun Ting. Something big happened. Something really big happened. Chun Xian's death last time already made the sect leader of Tianxia furious. Now that his successor is dead, it's definitely a big deal. Young Master Chun Ting's protective treasure couldn't even block it. What's the background of this person? This is too terrifying. First of all, the surrounding onlookers didn't expect this. The Golden Breeze drizzle building was too bold. This person was too awesome. He was the young master of Tianxia, yet he killed him just like that. Didn't he know that Tianxia was behind him? Tianxia with 100,000 members? The young master of Tianxia was respected by everyone, and everyone wanted to please him. No one expected that he would die in front of the Golden Breeze drizzle building without being able to fight back. Even his protective treasure couldn't block the attack. Crazy, this is too crazy. The faces of many people from the Golden Breeze drizzle building turned pale. They were obviously terrified. It wouldn't be a big deal if the person they killed was a cat or dog. However, the person they killed was the young master of Tianxia. The young master. What was his status? He had an illustrious status and could do whatever he wanted in the Mountain River City. This was because he had the support of the sect leader of Tianxia, who was about to become a king stage expert. The elders of the Golden Breeze drizzle building, including the Great Elder, were in a state of shock. They probably couldn't accept this news. Killing the young master of Tianxia in front of them. Damn it, this was too crazy. If you wanted to kill him, at least find another place. Why did you kill him in front of the Golden Breeze drizzle building? You didn't mean to cause trouble? It was conceivable that after Tianxia knew the situation, they would think that the Golden Breeze drizzle building was the murderer. There would be a storm soon. The Great Elder, who had received the benefits, was also regretting it. I was fooled. I really was fooled. I shouldn't have accepted the 200,000 pure yuan elixirs. I really shouldn't have agreed. When Lin Fei attacked, the Great Elder already knew that something big was going to happen. Deputy Building Leader Shin Sanbao was killed without hesitation. Moreover, he was the young master of Tianxia. He was probably just an ordinary person in the eyes of such people. The Great Elder knew that with the death of the young master of Tianxia, the relationship they maintained would definitely be broken. Then, Tianxia would definitely launch a large-scale attack. Soon, the war would begin. The Golden Phoenix took a deep breath and turned to the group of elders. Elders, could it be that all of you are afraid? The World Gang has the ambition of wolves. They actually want to snatch this tower master back to be their wife. Could it be that everyone here can swallow this insult? It's good that Chun Ting died. I will kill him myself. The Golden Breeze drizzle building is not afraid of a war. Golden Phoenix's cold eyes swept to the elders and deacons behind her, forcing them to make a decision. Fight to the end. The Golden Breeze drizzle building has never been afraid of a war. The elders complained in their hearts. Their faces were full of indignation, as if they wanted to shed their blood. This scene also fell into the eyes of Lin Fei. This girl is so smart. She knew my intention so quickly. Lin Fei had thought about killing the young master of Tianxia. He couldn't stay in Mountain River City for too long. He couldn't take advantage of the dark and windy night to sneak in and kill them all. Lin Fei liked to be straightforward. It was inevitable that there would be conflicts. What better way was there than to kill the young master of Tianxia? Lin Fei believed that if Chun Xian died in his hands, it would be an irreconcilable conflict. Even with the help of Tianxia, They might not be able to sit still. This was one aspect. The other aspect was to spread the name of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. This was for long-term consideration. If the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building could truly gain a foothold in Mountain River City, the family would also be able to develop in the future. With the help of such a gang, they could form an alliance and form double insurance. Lin Fei was thinking about the long term. Otherwise, he would have killed himself long ago. At the same time, the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building would leave a mysterious expert behind, which could completely deter the other forces. Whoosh! At the end of the long street, figures were moving, their sharp auras rushing over. Everyone subconsciously left this area. An entire street was suddenly empty. They were afraid that a fire at the city gate would affect the fish in the moat, so they left as far as they could. The World Army of Tianxia is here. The Grand Elder appeared beside Lin Fei and explained. Lin Fei glanced at the Grand Elder. Grand Elder, are you interested in exterminating them together? From the moment the Grand Elder took the 200,000 pure essence pills, he knew that he had fallen into a trap. Then, with the death of young Master Qinting, the conflict could not be resolved. The two gangs were bound to fight. The Grand Elder was destined to be unable to transcend. Chapter 300. Crazy, this is too crazy. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building is preparing to start a war. This isn't a question of whether the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building wants to start a war. A young master died in Tianxia. Another young master died last time. Gang Master Qin can't help but be angry. The World Army has been arranged here. Tianxia's most elite warriors with the best equipment are all at the Mystic Adept realm. They are going to make great contributions. For Tianxia, who is that middle-aged man? He actually dared to make a decision for the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. He said he killed the young master, and he killed him. Look at the Great Elder. After the World Army arrived, the Great Elder and Lin Fei attacked at the same time. It shocked everyone again. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building started to move. They actually wanted to attack the World Army. Did they not know how powerful the World Army was? Hundreds of Black World Army emitted a murderous aura. They were covered in black armor, and only their eyes were exposed. Their killing intent soared to the sky, and people didn't dare to look at them. Where's the young master? In front of the Under Heaven Army, 3 armored commanders appeared. These 3 commanders were the 3 commanders who were quite famous in the World Army. Each of them controlled 500 World Army. The reputation of the World Army could be said to cause people to flee. Even if it was a mystic spirit expert, they wouldn't dare to attack the World Army and would definitely flee. Because the World Army had another name, the Bane of the Strong. Countless mystic spirit experts died in their hands. Because of this, the World Army had a reputation. Anyone who heard that the World Army attacked would definitely be scared out of their wits. They would either choose to admit defeat or choose to flee. The young master is dead. After sending back the news, the 3 commanders' expressions changed greatly. It was no less than a bolt from the blue. No one dared to believe that this was true. The young master was dead. The 3 commanders' hair stood on end. Attack and kill them. Avenge the young master. The 3 officers exchanged glances. The eldest young master was dead, and it was difficult for them to escape responsibility. In that case, they had to perform a meritorious service. Otherwise, when they returned and faced an enraged gang, Leader Qin, their foreheads would be covered with cold sweat. Attack! Walala, walala behind the 3 commanders. There was a total of 300 Under Heaven Army. All of them were mystic adepts. They were well equipped and had great lethality. Furthermore, the Under Heaven Army focused on killing. Ever since they came out, they had never suffered a defeat. Kill without mercy. Neat and clear voices rose into the sky. The killing intent that gathered together turned into a black fog above their heads. That was the manifestation of their killing intent condensing together. It was easy to imagine how many cultivators had died at their hands. That was why they had such a lineup. 300 people of the World Army transformed into a sharp arrow and charged forward, forming a black stream. Tianxia's young master had died. It immediately appeared on the tables of the major families. Because this matter was too big, the spies outside immediately sent the news back. For this patriarch, the battle between Tianxia and the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building was something they were happy about. The ancients had a saying that when two strong forces fought, one of them would definitely be injured. No matter if Tianxia won or if the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building maintained the situation, it wouldn't affect them. Of course, if the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building could teach Tianxia a lesson, it would definitely be a good thing. They could teach Tianxia a lesson so that they wouldn't be too arrogant. City, Lord's Mansion. City Lord of Mountain River City. At this moment, he also received news from the spies. Compared to other spies, his news was more accurate. This person is quite capable. I didn't expect Golden Sun to have such a trump card. City, Lord's Mansion. In the study room, there was more than just the city lord. The one who spoke was a middle-aged man who looked like a scholar. He wore a white robe and exuded a scholarly aura. City Lord Lu Quan said, "This person is too hot-tempered. He doesn't know how deep the waters of Tianxia are. Who knows? The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building might suffer a great loss this time. They might even be annexed by Tianxia." The middle-aged scholar said, "Isn't this just what you want? Tianxia's power has been expanding too quickly recently. It's a good time to use the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building to teach them a lesson. When necessary, give them some help. I think the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building will be able to persevere." As expected of the resourceful star, Lu Quan smiled and said, "Mountain River City has been in my hands for 50 years. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find an opportunity to uproot Tianxia and the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. I think this will be an opportunity. Let's wait and see. Perhaps this will be your opportunity to truly control the Mountain River City in your hands. You won't have to worry about others anymore." The Great Elder and Lin Fei rushed towards the Under Heaven Army. Demon Sealing, Sword Technique. The Great Elder was a martial artist who used a sword. He used 2 black swords, which were inferior grade spiritual treasures. He stabbed at the Under Heaven Army in front of him. Sword chi like silk. Xiao xiao xiao. Sword chi like silk was also a powerful technique. Only those who had high attainments in swordsmanship could truly comprehend it. Its lethality was terrifying. Dang, dang, dang. The Under Heaven monarch lived up to his reputation. Facing the sword chi like silk, the black armor on his body emitted a black radiance. He actually blocked the sword chi like silk and only suffered a small injury. Kill. Fist radiance, sword chi, saber chi. There were more than 100 of them that flew towards the Great Elder. The neat and orderly attacks shocked everyone. The Under Heaven Army is really strong. Facing this technique, everyone was speechless. Over 100 mystic masters attacked at the same time. It was normal for a mystic spirit expert to die in their hands. That was because they had armor for defense. They only needed to attack continuously. Attack was the best defense. The Great Elder was instantly surrounded. The power of the Under Heaven Army was still unimaginably strong. On the other side, Lin Fei also encountered a torrential attack. Tianxia is indeed famous. Gathering everyone's strength to deal with one person, it is indeed a terrifying martial artist army. Even the Great Elder is in a difficult situation. Lin Fei thought, "Windstorm." The green wind blades whistled, and the green wind blades that filled the sky went up to meet the attack. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The green wind blades were like steel sabers, shattering all the attacks of the Under Heaven Army. The power did not stop and directly hit the Under Heaven Army. Whoosh! The green wind blades were like scythes that harvested the enemy's life. The tough armor was unable to block the azure wind blade at all. It immediately lost its effect and was cut in two. This was because the azure wind blade contained a state. The power of the concept was unimaginable. Whirlwind. After the windstorm, Lin Fei's sword technique changed and turned into the swift and fierce whirlwind again. With this big move, the Underheaven army suffered heavy losses. Under the wind blades, 50 to 60 of the Underheaven army died tragically on the ground. In such a short time, so many of the Underheaven army died. This person is so strong. The strength of the Underheaven army was obvious to everyone. But today, everyone realized that the powerful Underheaven army was like an ant in front of that mysterious person. In an instant, there were heavy casualties. How long could the 300 of the Underheaven army last? The people from the Golden Breeze Drizzle building were all shocked. Killing building Master Shin Sanbao and suppressing the Great Elder was already terrifying. But now, killing the Underheaven army was like crushing an ant. They sucked in a breath of cold air. At the same time, they looked at the Golden Phoenix Pavilion Master with deep fear and dread. Unknowingly, they had already regarded the Golden Phoenix Pavilion Master as the Pavilion Master. They no longer had any thoughts of resisting and wholeheartedly supported the Pavilion Master. With such an expert helping them, they didn't dare to do anything. Lin Fei didn't know that killing the Underheaven army would bring about such an effect. It would leave such a deep impression in their hearts that they wouldn't be able to forget it for the rest of their lives. This person is an expert. Let's attack together. The 3 commanders of the Underheaven army saw the Underheaven army falling one by one, and their hearts were bleeding. The Underheaven army that Tianxia had nurtured was only around 5,000. In the blink of an eye, over 100 of them had died. They didn't know how to explain when they returned. This person had to die. They had to kill him first. If they allowed the Underheaven army to continue dying, the entire army would be annihilated. 10,000 miles of ice. Rampage. Broken Cloud Sword Art. The 3 commanders immediately attacked. Surging true essence, auras, swept across the area. All of them possessed the strength of late mystic spirit realm as they attacked Lin Fei, preparing to kill him in one fell swoop. Such a ferocious attack caused the crowd's expression to change. This person is in danger. With the 3 commanders joining hands, even a perfect mystic spirit expert will die in the underworld. Lin Fei didn't put them in his eyes. Narrowing his eyes, he said, "Your strength is not bad, but it's a pity that you are Tianxia's lackeys. You deserve to die." Boom! A giant green millstone spun in midair, tearing cracks in the void as it ruthlessly crushed towards them. This was the giant millstone created by Lin Fei using his wind concept. It was a powerful attack that specialized in crushing all enemies. Rumble! Before the giant millstone, the 3 commanders' attacks were so weak that they couldn't even withstand a single blow. They were crushed by the millstone and dissipated in the void. Moreover, their attacks couldn't block the giant millstone. Damn it, this is a concept. Concept attack. The 3 commanders were experienced people. When they saw this scene, they cried out involuntarily. They were very powerful when they joined hands. Even a perfect mystic spirit expert wouldn't fear them. However, in front of a concept attack, everything seemed so weak, especially when this concept attack was driven by a huge amount of true essence. Its power was imaginable. The green millstone ruthlessly smashed towards them with a destructive aura. The place where the 3 commanders were was instantly crushed into pieces. Under the millstone, their armors were crushed into pieces, and their bodies were also crushed into pieces. The Underheaven army below was also in the range of the crushing. Whoosh, crack, crack. The giant millstone crushed over like a spring breeze. Everywhere it passed, no one was spared. The street was turned into ruins. It was unimaginable that these ruins were created by a single attack. Chapter 301. Defeated, completely defeated. I didn't expect the powerful world army to be defeated so quickly. Even the great elder of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building might not have the ability to annihilate the world army. But that sickly-looking middle-aged man actually managed to completely wipe out the 300 world army. This person's ability is too tyrannical. Could it be that he has the ability of a king level? King level expert? Is that possible? Everyone was shocked. Everyone looked at each other in shock. They were at a loss and couldn't digest this news. The world army that could easily kill mystic spirit experts was actually defeated by a middle-aged man. Almost no one from the 300 world army survived. Other than a few who left, the rest were all dead. It was fine if the world army died, but 3 commander-level experts died. That was horrifying. The sky was turned upside down. After personally witnessing the middle-aged man kill 3 mystic spirit experts, the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building became infinitely larger in their eyes and became an existence that couldn't be provoked. Your Excellency has great skills. I admit defeat. The great elder flew over. If he was still unconvinced before, then after the other party killed the world army, he was truly convinced. The great elder had experienced the power of the world army, powerful defense and powerful attack. Even with Xianling's strength, he would have to use all his means to be able to contend against them. Otherwise, the Underheaven army would not have become the strongest trump card of the world gang. Just the mention of it would cause one's face to change. Great Elder is also powerful. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building has been able to contend against Tianxia. Great Elder has contributed a lot. Lin Fei said to the Great Elder. A hint of joy flashed in the Great Elder's eyes, but he said modestly, "That's nothing compared to you. It's not worth mentioning." Most of the 300 world army were dead. Everyone in the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building was shocked. They usually had to be careful when they saw the world army. They never thought that one day the powerful world army would die in front of them. The elders were shocked. The deacons were shocked. The disciples of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building were also shocked. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building is mighty. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building is mighty. It was unknown who started shouting, but soon after, it became a chorus of heartfelt excitement. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building that had always been at a disadvantage finally had their morale greatly boosted after killing the world army, sweeping away their previous dispiritedness. At this time, as long as they made use of it, the combat power of all the disciples of the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building would once again be united. They could even kill the powerful world army. So why should they worry about Tianxia's counterattack? That was because that mysterious middle-aged man had become the role model in their eyes. With such an expert overseeing things, would the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building need to be afraid? The answer was, of course, there was no need to be afraid. Although Jean Feng was a woman, her mastery of momentum was not inferior to that of a man. She quickly seized the opportunity to pull up the previously depressed taxi. If Tianxia attacked now, the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building would have the morale to fight. Morale was such a simple thing. When the army was defeated, they were at a disadvantage and their morale was low. Once they saw the hope of victory, their morale would easily rise again. Why was the army defeated, like a landslide? It was because they had lost the morale to fight, because they could not see any hope of victory. When the powerful world army died in front of them, everyone in the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building felt delighted. It was refreshing to kill. It was refreshing to kill, and it was good to kill. The world army was nothing more than this. They would still be killed. The world army was defeated. 3 commanders had died in battle. The news was like a spring breeze that swept through the entire mountain river city. The big and small forces were all shocked, and the same sentence hung on their mouths. How could this be possible? It was only when the spies sent back the news did they confirm that the news was not wrong. The world army was defeated, and 3 cryptic late-stage commanders had died. Something big has happened this time. All the clan leaders said the same thing. The world army was almost completely annihilated, and there were only a few survivors. This was already terrifying. With the death of 3 commanders, Tianxia had lost 3 experts. If Tianxia did not show an attitude, how could they make everyone look at them differently again? The big and small forces that received the news all noticed that the sickly middle-aged man had almost single-handedly annihilated the world army and killed 3 cryptic late-stage commanders. What was the background of this middle-aged man? Everyone had this question in their hearts, and it was followed by speculations about his strength. Cryptic great circle? Or a king-level expert? If it was the former, Tianxia was completely capable of killing the other party. If it was the latter, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. It would definitely be a battle of life and death. The spies in Mountain River City were fully activated, paying attention to the latest developments of the Golden Breeze Drizzle building and Tianxia, for fear of falling behind. It could be said that Lin Fei's attack had turned the calm pond of Mountain River City upside down. For a moment, Mountain River City was like a pool of muddy water. In a quiet room in Tianxia, the fragrance of sandalwood lingered. It seems that Brother Xianqi is going to lose this game. Qin Tianba put down a black chess piece and killed a small white dragon. He seemed to be in a good mood. Sitting opposite him was Lin Fei's old acquaintance, Xianqi. He reached out and put down the chess piece. Lost. Brother Tianba, this game is getting more and more powerful. It has a courageous momentum, just like the momentum that Tianxia is in now. Qin Tianba laughed. Brother Xianqi, you flatter me. It's all thanks to the care of the Black Tortoise sect that Tianxia can have today's achievements. Otherwise, Tianxia would just be a first-rate sect. You have the strength, so you can become the spokesperson of the Black Tortoise sect. You and I will benefit from each other and take care of each other. Brother Tianba, you don't have to be so polite. Xianqi shook his head and said seriously. Dong, dong, dong. The sound of hurried footsteps was heard, and the door was pushed open. Father, something bad has happened. Qin Tianba raised his eyebrows and seemed unhappy, even if this person was his son. He scolded, Little Guang, who let you in? Don't you know that I am entertaining a distinguished guest? Qin Yaoguang was the second son of Qin Tianba. He looked fair and clean. When he heard the scolding, he could only bite the bullet and said, Father, big brother is dead. What? A horrifying aura broke out. Qin Tianba stood up with a whoosh, and his anger soared. The objects around him were turned into powder under the strong wind of the true Yuan. Xianqi, who was sitting opposite, also showed a surprised expression. What had happened? Qin Yaoguang knelt down with a puff, unable to bear this wave of horrifying aura. Big Brother is dead. The 300 Heaven Army is also annihilated, and the 3 commanders are also dead. Qin Yaoguang's forehead was full of cold sweat, and it took him a lot of effort to say what had happened. The people who killed them were from the Golden Breeze Drizzle building. Kacha! Kacha! The quiet room was instantly razed to the ground. How hateful! My son! Qin Tianba's eyes were red. The death of his beloved youngest son was enough to make him distressed. He did not expect that after a few months his favorite eldest son was also dead. His future successor was dead. Qin Tianba felt like the sky had collapsed. Golden Breeze Drizzle building, I want you to die a horrible death. At this moment, Qin Tianba was extremely angry. Within the surrounding area, the strong wind of the true Yuan mercilessly strangled some objects. Nothing good could be found in the surroundings. Brother Tianba, calm down, Xianqi said. Among the people present, only Xianqi was qualified to speak. Qin Tianba calmed down and did not dare to continue to release his powerful aura. I have let Brother Xianqi see a joke. If you need any help, just tell me. Such a big thing has happened, and the Golden Breeze Drizzle building must answer for it, Xianqi said. Qin Tianba's eyes were filled with anger. I really need Elder Xianqi's help in this matter. The death of my son must be avenged. This time I will uproot the Golden Breeze Drizzle building and not give them a chance to breathe. Xianqi nodded. This time the Black Tortoise sect will definitely help you. Brother Batian, go ahead and do it. The other forces will not interfere. I can guarantee this. In front of the Golden Breeze Drizzle building, Lin Fei brought over a chair and swaggered to sit in front of him. He looked like he could hold back 10,000 enemies by himself. In fact, this was Lin Fei's mentality. He was waiting for them to come up. After killing so many people in Tianxia, I don't believe that you, a coward, can hide for long. After killing you, I will also kill the elders and then Tianxia will fall. Lin Fei guessed. Lin Fei did not want to stay in Mountain River City for too long. Calculating the time, half a year was almost up, and he still had to return to the Divine Four sect. Today's killing was to force that bastard out. Uncle Lin, is it too dangerous to do this? Jean Feng walked lightly and appeared beside Lin Fei. Naturally, the people behind her did not dare to call out her full name. There's danger in everything, but to me, there's not much danger today. Lin Fei smiled. I believe that without the higher-ups of the World Gang, your position as the floor master will be stable. Are you going to leave? Jean Feng suddenly asked. Lin Fei looked back and saw a flash of reluctance on Jean Feng's face. I have no choice. I was born to work hard. You know. Will you come back? Lin Fei blinked. Of course I will come back. I believe that when I come back, you will be the building head. At that time, don't whip me again. The Golden Phoenix burst into laughter. Suddenly, Lin Fei raised his eyebrows. Here comes the show. Jean Feng's eyes were filled with killing intent. She looked at the end of the street and saw a large number of people moving toward them. An earth-shattering aura rushed toward them like a dark cloud, giving people a strong shock. Disciples of the Golden Breeze Drizzle building, gather! Jean Feng ordered, and the Golden Breeze Drizzle building moved. Who killed my son? Come out. A loud, rumbling sound reverberated in the air and spread throughout the entire street. Almost half of the Mountain River City could hear it. Chapter 302. Qin Tianba's attack caused quite a stir. The loud rumbling announced that the leader of Tianxia had come in anger. He was not only here for revenge, but also to destroy the Golden Breeze Drizzle building. Just the black mass of Under Heaven army behind him was enough to make people fearful. No matter where they were, they would not be able to eat or sleep in peace. And the one who would not be able to eat or sleep in peace was the Golden Breeze Drizzle building. Not to mention the Under Heaven army, the experts that Chen Batian had brought were enough to make everyone fearful. They did not dare to fight against Tianxia. It was a one-sided situation. Tianxia was really going all out this time. They were prepared to teach the Golden Breeze Drizzle building a lesson. Old thing, are you blind? Can't you see that I am the one who killed your son? Lin Fei did not try to control it. His loud and clear voice rang out like thunder on a sunny day, landing in everyone's ears. Whoosh! Everyone's hearts were in their throats. This middle-aged man was really arrogant. Did he not know that it was Chen Batian in front of him? He was the leader of Tianxia. He was a big shot that could shake the entire Mountain River City. Now, there was someone who did not give Chen Batian any face, calling him old thing directly. He really did not know how to spell the word death. If not for the previous scene, they would have suspected that there was something wrong with this person's head. How dare he provoke such a big shot? Once Chen Batian attacked, this person would not have a good ending. Between the middle-aged man and Chen Batian, everyone was more optimistic about Chen Batian. This was because Chen Batian had once escaped from a king-level expert. A king-level expert was a terrifying existence. Everyone could imagine the result. This was because king-level experts were the ones in charge of small empires. The strength of a king-level expert could disregard warriors below the king level. It could be said that no matter how many came, they would be killed. In any empires, if anyone dared to rebel, even if they were strong and had many helpers, They would not be able to stop a king-level expert. They would all be killed. In the past, there was a large family in a dynasty that was preparing to rebel. They raised a large number of experts, most of whom were profound spirit realm experts. They used their strength to sweep through the world and almost took over the dynasty. In the end, the dynasty arranged for a king-level expert to mercilessly kill them. Even if they worked together, they couldn't block a single blow. The strength of a king-stage expert was still fresh in everyone's mind. The fact that the leader of Tianxia was able to escape from a king-class elite was a testament to Qin Baishan's abilities. Later on, no one at the same level dared to fight Qin Batian, as they didn't have much confidence. Although the two of them had similar strength, the difference between them was huge. One was like the sky, and the other was like the ground. Therefore, they believed in Qin Baishan's strength. This kind of provocative action would undoubtedly cause Qin Batian to die even faster, because no one had ever dared to call Qin Batian an old thing, especially in front of so many people. This already put Qin Batian on the spot. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A few figures landed on the long street. The one in the lead was Qin Batian. His eyes were like lightning, and a murderous aura locked onto Lin Fei. "You killed my eldest son?" Lin Fei didn't stand up and said lazily, "Old thing, you've already guessed it. Why bother asking? I really don't know how you became the leader. You don't even have the ability to analyze things. What a failure of a person. You're courting death." Qin Batian was furious. He took a step forward and punched out. Roar! The roar of a tiger soared into the sky. A white tiger, several meters long, leaped several meters with each leap. It pounced at Lin Fei, turning everything in its path into ruins. "Xiaofeng, stay back!" Lin Fei stood up with a swoosh and slapped his hands in front of him. Boundless, true essence gushed out, and the space around him crackled like beans being fried. Boom! The green gale blade slashed down and landed on the white tiger's body. The white tiger's huge body was smashed into pieces, and a ravine was left on the street. "Old thing, it seems like your attack is useless against me." Qin Batian had just used the white tiger killing fist. The white tiger was mainly used for killing, and this fist technique also carried a murderous aura. He had always used this move against ordinary people. "You do have some ability. No wonder you dared to kill my son," Qin Batian said coldly. He was shocked and had already classified his opponent as an expert. Luckily, his opponent wasn't a king-level expert, so he was relieved. If he wasn't a king-level expert, then everything would be fine. The two exchanged a quick move, and it was a peaceful exchange. The result was beyond imagination. This guy is really strong to be able to block Qin Baishan's fist. Qin Baishan's strength belonged to the top in the Mountain River City, and he was famous for being able to escape from a king-level expert. His fist technique had always been ferocious and filled with murderous aura, and he had always killed people in less than 10 moves. Lin Fei took a step forward and laughed. "If I wasn't strong, how could I have killed your son and annihilated the world army? Today, not only will I kill your son, I will also kill you, old thing, and let you accompany your son in hell." Arrogant. Lin Fei already had the capital to be so arrogant. Lin Fei hated war of words the most, and the feeling of killing someone in front of him felt really good. In the past, he might not have had the confidence to do so, but Lin Fei now had enough strength, and he didn't need to worry about this powerful Tianxia. He could just pack up and leave. Voila! The crowd was shocked once again. How could there be such an arrogant person? Calling him an old thing was already arrogant enough, and now he said, "I will kill you, old thing!" If it was them, they wouldn't have dared to say such words. The elders of the Golden Breeze Drizzle building heard this, and they felt especially carefree, a carefree feeling that they had never felt before. These words could only be said in their hearts in the past, but now that they heard it, it was as if they were the ones saying it, and it felt really good. This Uncle Lin is so mighty. Ever since Qin Batian became the leader, he had always been scolded as an old thing, And now he actually said that he wanted to kill him. His tone was really not ordinary. Did he really think that he was a king-level expert? Your tone is really big. If you want to kill this leader, you have to show your strength. You don't know how many people wanted to kill this leader, but in the end, they all died in my hands. Chinbatian did not get angry, but instead laughed, as if he was looking at a stupid person. Lin Fei laughed loudly. The person beside you is Elder Xian Qi, right? Xian Qi was also startled. You know me? Xian Qi did not have any impression of the person in front of him. From the moment he appeared, he had been sizing him up, but he couldn't remember such an expert, especially that this person knew him. He was quite surprised. Of course I know you, because today you will also die. Voila! The crowd was shocked again. This tone, after a wave of injustice, another wave was born. What kind of person was Xian Qi? He was one of the elders of Black Tortoise Sect and was quite powerful. The power behind him was Black Tortoise Sect, which had more influence than Tianxia. If Tianxia was already strong enough, but in front of Black Tortoise Sect, they did not dare to make a sound, as the power of life and death depended on one sentence. If killing Chinbatian could be said to be arrogant, then killing an elder of Black Tortoise Sect would mean going against Black Tortoise Sect, and that was really arrogant, not knowing the immensity of heaven and earth. Xian Qi's face darkened. Your Excellency, do you know who I am? Do you know who is standing behind me? You are going against Black Tortoise Sect. Don't you know what will happen to you? Lin Fei originally wanted to kill Chinbatian, then go to Black Tortoise Sect to kill Xian Qi. But now that he had met him here, he would not be polite and kill him at the same time, saving him a wasted trip. As for Black Tortoise Sect, Lin Fei was not worried at all, nor was he afraid. Black Tortoise Sect would not want to go against a king-level expert, right? The Black Tortoise Gate wouldn't fight to the death just for an elder who had the strength of a king-ranked expert. Although Lin Fei was not a king-level expert yet, his battle power had already reached king level. Unless the king-level expert from Black Tortoise Sect wanted to die, Lin Fei did not mind killing him. At least it was experience points. Black Tortoise Sect? Just a lowly sect. If I kill you two today, you will not live to see tomorrow's sun. Lin Fei took another step forward, his eyes cold. Xian Qi had never been called out by name like this before, and even wanted to kill him on the spot. Although he was not strong, he was at the late stage of cryptic spirit, and he had a huge Black Tortoise Sect behind him. A sect's influence was the biggest deterrent. Crazy, he's really crazy. The great elder was in a good mood, but after hearing these words, he was in pain. Who was this person? Why did he look like a mad dog? Black Tortoise Sect. That was the most famous and powerful sect in Shanha province. If the Black Tortoise Sect wanted to kill someone, unless that person left the Shanha county, he would die without a doubt. Who asked the Black Tortoise Sect to have such a powerful master? To be able to compete with the Divine Martial Sect for so long, they should have at least one king-level master, right? No matter how good Xian Qi's temperament was, when faced with this kind of words, he would fly into a rage. Moreover, he came from the Black Tortoise Sect, so he had always been arrogant. Seeing someone humiliate the Black Tortoise Sect, his heart was filled with anger. True Yang Sword Art. Xian Qi moved. This person dared to provoke him, so he must be taught a lesson. The scorching sun was burning, and the blazing True Yuan was like a burning sun, floating behind him. The temperature of the whole street suddenly rose, and the hot air made it feel like he was in a desert. Scorching sun-burning sky. The fiery sun turned into a long sword, emitting the true Yang Qi, and slashed at Lin Fei from the sky. Hua la la! The ruins were incinerated into nothingness under this long sword. Lin Fei was suddenly in a hot environment, facing the scorching sun. Lousy True Yang Sword Art, let me show you what a real scorching sun is. Boom! Destructive qi burst out from Lin Fei's body. Golden suns appeared behind him, and the destructive qi was earth-shattering. Immediately, the golden suns turned into long swords and slashed at Qian-Chi. Scorching Sun versus Golden Sunday. With the destructive Qi, how could the scorching sun be a match for Qian-Chi? The suns were destroyed one by one, and the scorching sun pierced through the blockade and slashed at Qian-Chi. True Yang shield. Qian-Chi's heart skipped a beat, and the scorching sun surrounded him as he retreated. Boom, boom, boom. Chapter 303. P.S. Thanks to Dubious Little Girl and Uncle Bill for their monthly votes. Such a powerful attack was not something that Elder Qian-Chi could withstand. Lin Fei's annihilation sword art crushed over mercilessly, crushing this Elder Qian-Chi to death. His physical body was crushed to a pulp. Even if he had a miraculous elixir, there was no way he could survive. Old thing, it's your turn now. Lin Fei laughed loudly, and the golden millstone once again pressed down towards Qin Batian, causing the void to collapse layer by layer. Rumble! The horrified millstone pressed down from the sky. The giant millstone, which contained the intent of destruction, immediately caused the experts of Tianxia to feel a sense of danger that could kill them. Elder Qian-Chi died, and they could not react in time. The killing move arrived with a loud bang. Madman! This guy must be a madman. He even dared to kill Elder Qian-Chi. Isn't he afraid of the revenge of the Black Tortoise sect? Damn it, I don't want to die. As the giant millstone approached, Qin Batian grabbed the air from his left and right, and two figures were caught in front of the giant millstone, trying to block the attack. Walala! The two figures directly turned into a mist of blood, and a rain of blood immediately fell on the street. Damn it! Qin Batian raised his eyebrows, and the destructive aura locked onto him, as if it wanted to crush him to death. I don't believe that you can last long with this big move of yours. Once again, they grabbed left and right, forming a human wall, trying to block the attack. The most tragic thing was that the experts were caught and thrown by Qin Batian, becoming a scapegoat. No one would have thought that they would become a scapegoat. Haha, old thing, are you afraid? Today you will die. Lin Fei stepped forward, and the great millstone continued to crush over. Everywhere he passed, everyone was crushed to death by the great millstone, not leaving a single survivor. His methods were extremely cruel. Killed XXX, obtained 150 sin points. Killed XXX, obtained 250 sin points. Killed XXX, obtained 180 sin points. Every time the giant millstone crushed a person to death, the system would immediately send out a cold voice. Awesome, this is too awesome. It feels so good to kill people. Along with the system's voice, Lin Fei was in a good mood. This kind of opportunity to gain experience by killing people was really rare. Moreover, these people from the World Army had sin value. Based on this conversion, I'm afraid it will be at least millions or even tens of millions of experience points, right? Lin Fei thought. Qin Batian, the leader of the Tianxia sect, was in a complete mess right now. To think that the leader of the Tianxia sect would be forced into such a state by a single person. He didn't know how many of the Under Heaven army had died because of him, but he still couldn't block the other party's attack. That damned killing intent was undoubtedly going to kill him. White Tiger killing fist. Qin Batian was infuriated. Seeing him being chased like this, he couldn't help but think back to the time when he was chased by a king. In fact, Qin Batian himself knew that if he continued like this, he would definitely die. If he took a gamble, he might have a chance. Roar! This time, Qin Batian's berserk true origin surged out, and a boundless killing intent gathered together. The 100 Zhonglong White Tiger emitted a terrifying aura. In the White Tiger killing fist, the most powerful move, White Tiger biting kill, was activated by killing intent. It consumed half of the true origin to activate this powerful attack, killing without mercy. Just in time. Rumble. The great millstone's aura spread out and directly collided with the White Tiger's body, crushing it from left to right. The White Tiger let out a roar, obviously extremely angry. Crash! The huge white tiger was mercilessly killed by the great millstone again and again. Old thing, you can die now. The great millstone streaked across a stream of light and crashed into Chinbation's body. Instantly, a violent gust of wind was set off in the surrounding area. Those with low strength nearby were suppressed to the point that they spat out mouthfuls of blood. Not dead. Lin Fei frowned and looked at the ruins. Because there was no notification from the system, he couldn't help but start to doubt. Boom! A figure soared up into the sky and stopped in midair. That person's entire body was in a sorry state. His clothes were tattered and his hair was disheveled like a beggar on the street. At this moment he was dancing with joy. "Ha! I have finally advanced to the profound king realm, becoming a king-level expert. Thanks to you, I managed to advance to the profound king realm. Now, let's see how you will kill me." The person who came out from below was none other than Chen Batian, who was blasted down. At this moment, his powerful aura made everyone break out in a cold sweat. Oh no! Chen Batian actually became a profound king realm expert. Everyone was shocked, especially the Golden Breeze drizzle building. Once a martial artist advanced to the profound king realm, the gap was like heaven and earth. Even if it was the early stage of the king level, his strength would soar rapidly and was far from what a profound spirit expert could contend with. No one would have thought that Chen Batian would advance to the profound king realm in the face of a life and death crisis. Lin Fei was very surprised. Old thing, your luck is really not bad. To be able to become a king-level expert before your death, it seems that you will be able to leave in style. Chen Batian laughed. Soon, I will let you know what the true strength of a king-level expert is. Show! Chen Batian leaped hundreds of zhang and appeared in front of Lin Fei. He punched towards Lin Fei's face and grinned. Die for me! Rumble! After advancing to the king level, his speed was so fast that no one could react in time. Many people below were shocked by this speed. How many people could block such a blow? No wonder it was said that no matter how strong one was below the king level, it was impossible to contend against a king-level expert. They would die without a doubt. Uncle Lin! Lin Fei was about to be blasted into pieces. Jean Feng couldn't help but shed tears. She couldn't bear to watch any longer because the speed was too fast. What she saw was the scene of Lin Fei being blasted into pieces. Old thing, your speed is too slow. A lazy voice suddenly came from behind Chen Batian. Not dead. Chen Batian was shocked. What he destroyed was just an illusion. Immediately, a figure attacked and kicked Chen Batian. You want to kill me with this speed? Dream on. Bang! Chen Batian was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. He crashed into a house and immediately turned it into ruins. Dust flew everywhere. There was complete silence. The same thought appeared in everyone's mind. This man was a king-level expert. Other than king-class experts, no one would be able to react fast enough to block this sudden attack. Everyone in the Golden Breeze drizzle building was stunned. King-level expert? Jean Feng also stopped crying. Her heart was in turmoil. Previously, she had estimated Lin Fei's strength to be between the cryptic spirit late stage to the complete cryptic spirit. She had never thought that he would reach such a terrifying level. How on earth did he cultivate? Jean Feng couldn't think of a reason. Even geniuses couldn't cultivate at such a speed, right? I am a king-level expert. How could I not block it? Chen Batian stood up from the ruins. His eyes were filled with fear. He was so depressed that he almost vomited blood. He was a king-level expert, but he couldn't even block a single kick and was sent flying. This was too much. Seeing that you are a king-level expert, I will use the most powerful method to send you to hell. Lin Fei rushed over. The sword array formed behind him. Total annihilation. Killing must be done in a spectacular manner, so that no one would dare to look down on the Golden Breeze drizzle building. This scene would be remembered by everyone. Lin Fei believed that all the spies present would bring the news back. They wouldn't dare to hide anything. Rumble. 2 white sword rivers rushed down. The sword chi slammed into Chun Baishan's body. 720 flying swords. Even the strongest experts of the 18 clans were injured and had to flee. Moreover, he was only at the initial stage king level. He hadn't even consolidated his strength. After the total annihilation, the ground collapsed. The houses became ruins. At the same time, a huge crater appeared. The surrounding cracks were like spider webs. It was horrifying. Lin Fei's eyes turned and fell on the World Army and the other experts. His eyes were cold. Run. Chun Batian had died when he became a king-level expert. Not to mention the opponent was a king-level expert. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The experts of Tianxia panicked. They ran in all directions. They were scared out of their wits. Die. 720 flying swords turned into a sword light and flew in all directions. Bang, 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 bang. Those who ran away were all killed by the flying swords. Their corpses fell down. The whole street was full of corpses and blood flowed like a river. After this battle, all the experts of Tianxia were killed. As for the World Army, they died in Lin Fei's hands. They were exchanged for a lot of experience points. Surrender was unnecessary. It was better to exchange them for experience points. Boom! Lin Fei blasted out a sword light. The people of the Black Tortoise Gate are so uncultured. You want a sneak attack. In the sky, a figure was blasted away. His face was aghast, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. Senior, you misunderstood. With my strength, how could I sneak attack you? The experts of the Black Tortoise Gate secretly wiped their cold sweat. They regretted coming to check the situation. They met an existence like a fiend. A king-level expert could easily kill him. He was a king stage expert, and he had almost been killed. Lin Fei frowned. Really? The experts of the Black Tortoise Gate were so scared that they broke out in cold sweat. His face was pale, as if he was seriously ill. Senior, even if you give me 100 guts, I still wouldn't dare to do it. Lin Fei coldly snorted. Go back and tell your Black Tortoise Gate master that I have a grudge against Shenqi. If he has any thoughts, he can come and find me. Also, Tianxia was also destroyed by me. If you are not satisfied, you can come and find me. The experts of the Black Tortoise Gate hurriedly shook their head. Shenqi is no longer a member of the Black Tortoise Gate. He deserved to die in the hands of Senior. Tianxia has nothing to do with us. They offended Senior. That's their own business. At this time, this expert of the Black Tortoise sect didn't dare to say anything. Chun Batian had become a king-level expert, but he was still killed so quickly. Their Black Tortoise sect didn't dare to offend such a king-level expert. Elder Xianqi, the Underheaven Gang, they didn't dare to say anything. Offending such a powerful king-level expert would greatly damage the Black Tortoise sect's strength. Chapter 304. P.S. Thank you to Luo Yuxuan for the tip. Recently, Xiaoku has returned from Qingming. My body isn't feeling well, so 10,000 has become 6,000. I will explode in a few days. What is shocking? What is awesome? The corpses and wreckage on the streets were the best proof. No one at the scene could have imagined that this person could be so powerful and cruel. Chun Batian advanced to the king-class expert before his death, but he was still killed. The casualties of the Tianxia experts he brought was almost the same. It was a shocking bloody battle, and the one who made the move was a king-class expert. The Golden Breeze Drizzle building had a king-class expert standing behind it, which made everyone fearful. What did it mean to have a king-class expert overseeing the place? Everyone was clear that, at least in the Mountain River City, no one dared to not give him face. This was the deterrent force. Even if you were gnashing your teeth in hatred, you still had to maintain a smile on your face, as you couldn't afford to offend him. From now on, no one would look down on the Golden Breeze Drizzle building. Its influence suddenly rose to the level of a household name. Even the mountain river city lord would have to be polite to them. The Black Tortoise Sex elder expert didn't even dare to make a sound in front of a king-class expert and was as respectful as a turtle. This was strength. Elder Xian-Chi was still an elder previously, and the Black Tortoise sect didn't dare to question him. Instead, they expelled him from the Black Tortoise sect. As for the entire Tianxia, they were abandoned because they didn't want to offend a king-class expert. Chun Batian became a king-class expert and was killed so easily. Unless the Black Tortoise sect wanted to be entangled to the end, they wouldn't be angry over this matter. Once they offended a king-class expert, their Black Tortoise sect strength would definitely be greatly damaged. The Black Tortoise sect swallowed the insult and humiliation, and that was the best choice. Lin Fei was more or less disappointed. If the Black Tortoise sect made a move, he wouldn't mind going to their doorstep and might be able to extort a huge sum of money. Unfortunately, the Black Tortoise sect didn't fall into the trap. Elder Xian-Chi was expelled, and Tianxia was abandoned. Most of the Tianxia experts were dead, and countless of the Under Heaven army were slaughtered by Lin Fei. Tianxia's strongest force was lost by at least 2/3. What would the result be like? Everyone would kick a collapsing wall. You can scram now. If I find out that your Black Tortoise sect is playing any dirty tricks, I'll make your sect leader pay attention to his own head. A cold voice resounded throughout the street. The experts of the Black Tortoise Gate did not dare to breathe loudly, nor did they dare to show any dissatisfaction. I will definitely pass on Senior's words. The Black Tortoise Sex expert let out a long sigh of relief as he was able to escape from the hands of a king-level expert. He was so close to dying at the hands of the king-level expert. The reason why Lin Fei let the Black Martial School's elder go was because he didn't want the Black Martial School to hold a grudge against the Golden Breeze Drizzle building. He landed again and appeared next to the Golden Phoenix. Xiao Feng, you can now arrange for people to clean up the battlefield and launch an attack on Tianxia. Lin Fei knew that with him here, no one would dare to make a move. Once he left, Tianxia would definitely become a fat piece of meat for everyone, and everyone would want to take a bite out of it. Tianxia was such a big piece of meat. If Lin Fei wasn't in the Golden Breeze Drizzle building, he wouldn't be able to eat it, and he might even be pushed out. Lin Fei was a super strong existence, and he was the best deterrent. If they wanted a share of the pie, they would have to think about whether they had the ability or not. Uncle Lin, I will listen to you. The great elder also said respectfully, I will personally take action and kill the remnants of Tianxia. Very soon, the Golden Breeze Drizzle building moved. Although it was constantly being suppressed and had lost a part of its strength, its current fighting strength was like a ferocious tiger that could devour people at any time. Following the order, the Golden Breeze Drizzle building moved at the fastest time, heading straight for the headquarters of Tianxia. After losing Qin Batian and the other experts, coupled with the matters outside, everyone was already panicking. When the Golden Breeze Drizzle building attacked Tianxia and met with a brief resistance, they took the opportunity to blast open the main gate and kill their way into Tianxia. The Black Tortoise Sex elder Xian-Chi was killed. Tianxia's Chun Batian, who had advanced to the king level, was killed. The World Army was defeated. The Golden Breeze Drizzle building had produced a king-level expert. The entire Mountain River City was in an uproar. When they heard this news, their first thought was disbelief. A king-level expert was a high-level fighting strength. How could he be killed? But when the news came, they were shocked. The Golden Breeze Drizzle building had a king-level expert, and his strength was especially tyrannical. Chun Batian, who had just advanced, was like a child in front of him. A gang with a king-level expert overseeing it would have a completely different influence. The Black Tortoise sect was powerful, right? Facing this king-level expert, the Black Tortoise sect elder lowered his head, not daring to have any thoughts of going against him. He also understood that this king-level expert was not to be trifled with. After this news was confirmed, everyone couldn't help but sigh. The powerful Tianxia had disappeared just like that. With such a king-level expert overseeing it, all the forces in Mountain River City didn't dare to interfere. A big piece of meat, but such a big piece of meat also required strength to eat. Everyone understood that the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building would become a bigger force than Tianxia in the future. Even if this king-level expert was Jean Yang's good friend, as long as he existed, the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building would be free of worries. As long as they didn't offend the public, who would dare to attack the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. No one dared, and no one dared to do it. Tianxia was a big force in Mountain River City, and its leader, Qin Batian, had many experts under him. But all of this was like an illusion, broken with a light touch. From today onwards, Tianxia would become a thing of the past, a memory in history that might occasionally be remembered by someone. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for completing the mission to annihilate Tianxia. Obtain 10 million experience points, 100,000 points, 10,000 points of special elemental energy, and a lottery ticket. The system's voice sounded in Lin Fei's mind as he sat in the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. A warm feeling flowed through his body. That was the benefit of leveling up. After leveling up this time, Lin Fei was slightly surprised. What is this special elemental energy? When the mission was issued, there was no mention of special elemental energy. Only after receiving the reward did Lin Fei know that he had obtained this elemental energy. It was impossible for Lin Fei not to be surprised. Special elemental energy, a super explosive power that doesn't belong to this world. Once it explodes, it will produce a huge force. Congratulations on killing the enemy. There's such a power? Lin Fei thought. Damn, could this elemental energy be from the upper realm? Isn't this too awesome? The appearance of this kind of power really surprised Lin Fei. He didn't know that the system had such a heaven-defying function. Lin Fei didn't care about the experience points. With 100,000 points, he felt really good. In addition to his previous points, he had about 200,000 points. I wonder what kind of power this elemental energy explodes with. Lin Fei opened the system and found that the experience points had increased from 100 million to 500 million. It was a 5-fold increase, which was within the normal range. On the system attributes, Lin Fei found the elemental energy interface. When he saw the label, he couldn't help but be shocked. This was too heaven-defying. This elemental energy can actually be extracted from the body of a powerhouse. The system rewarded him with special elemental energy, and he immediately unlocked the super elemental energy branch. Elemental energy, 10,000 points. The branch introduction was very simple. 10,000 elemental energy exploded, and the combat power actually reached a level that Lin Fei didn't even dare to imagine. It actually reached the profound Emperor Great Circle. Awesome, a group attack skill. Lin Fei was beaming with joy. This branch system was too awesome. In online games, there had always been super group attack skills. For example, back in the day, Lin Fei once played Fantasy World. There was a super large group attack. That kind of super large group attack had a time constraint. Now, this required elemental energy, and it could only be obtained by killing powerhouses. It was equivalent to magic mana potions in games. This attack started with 10,000 elemental energy as the driving force, and when it was unleashed, it displayed a powerful lethality. The strength of the profound Emperor Great Circle was such a terrifying attack. This feels great. Out of all the breakthroughs, this was the one Lin Fei was most satisfied with. He did not care about experience points, but he cared about elemental energy. He believed that after activating this branch, he would have a chance to obtain elemental energy by killing experts in the future. After calming himself down, Lin Fei started the lottery. At this time, no one would come to the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. Lin Fei happily started the lottery. This time, Lin Fei was much calmer. He opened the lottery page and opened the system. This time he was going to rely on his luck and draw whatever he got. Previously, he had used the 72 mortal flying swords and the strengthening skill stone to strengthen his wings of the wind and increase his speed. He wondered what he would get this time. Lin Fei thought, "Ding, congratulations to player Lin Fei. You have obtained the strengthened version Water Fire Lotus. The system will immediately upgrade it for you." Ding, congratulations to player Lin Fei. Strengthening skill completed. Obtained strengthened version Water Flame Lotus. And why did I get this? Lin Fei was very surprised that he actually got the strengthened version Water Flame Lotus. His luck seemed to be too good. The Water Flame Lotus could be said to have helped Lin Fei solve a lot of problems. After his strength kept increasing, the power of the Water Flame Lotus couldn't be increased. This time, Lin Fei was also very surprised to get this ability and suspected that he had seen wrongly. Water Flame Lotus. With a thought, a lifelike lotus appeared on Lin Fei's hand. When this Water Flame Lotus appeared, it emitted a powerful and dangerous aura which was far stronger than before. Now, every leaf of the Water Flame Lotus was vivid and lifelike. One could feel the aura of fire on it. This was something that didn't exist before because previously it was just a form. But now the Water Flame Lotus not only had a form, but it also had an intent. When placed in front of him, it seemed real and couldn't be seen as fake. Chapter 305. P.S. Thanks to Luo Yuxuan for becoming the second leader. Mountain River City. What was the most noteworthy event in recent days? It should be said that the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building had become the biggest gang in Mountain River Prefecture. Especially after taking over the remaining forces of Tianxia, no one dared to underestimate it anymore. 3 days passed. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building had finished digesting its forces. Under the jealousy of the public, it had completely digested the territories that it had swallowed before. Someone should have asked if it was possible. One could not become fat with just one mouthful of rice, let alone the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building. What if there was a king-level expert in charge? The situation would be completely different. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building would not have any trouble when digesting the territories, nor would it give the public a chance. They could only watch helplessly as they were digested. During these 3 days, the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building had become the target that all the forces in Mountain River City wanted to rope in. Even if they could not rope in the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building, they could not become enemies, especially since they had a king-level expert. In the end, it all depended on the king-level expert. When the head of the Black Tortoise sect came in person, no one knew what had happened. However, everyone could see that when the head of the Black Tortoise sect came out, his face had changed a little. A fight between king-level experts? Or that was unknown. At least on one point, the Black Tortoise sect admitted defeat. After the head of the Black Tortoise sect left, everyone knew that the situation in Mountain River City had changed again. In the afternoon, the city lord of Mountain River City also took the initiative to visit. He was very polite and obviously wanted to rope in Mountain River City. The meaning was obvious. It was worth the city lord's initiative. Lin Fei stayed in the Golden Breeze Drizzle Building for a total of 5 days. During these 5 days, it was nothing more than a deterrent to other forces, especially the secret fight with the Black Tortoise sect and so on. Now it was all gone. Lin Fei's task was completed. The Golden Breeze Drizzle Building only had time to develop. One night, the building master, Golden Phoenix, came to Lin Fei's room in person without any servants. Even so, Golden Phoenix already had the aura of a superior. In these few days, "Brother Lin, are you there?" "The door is not locked. Come in." Lin Fei's voice sounded from inside the room. The Golden Phoenix pushed the door open and entered. Lin Fei, who was in the room, had already returned to his original appearance. His bronze skin was filled with the scent of a man. The black robe he was wearing was very fitting. "How is it?" Have you gotten used to it? Fortunately, I finally understand Father's painstaking efforts and hardships to be the building master. Jean Feng sighed softly and sat down beside Lin Fei. Lin Fei also heard the sigh and didn't know what to say. To be a tower master, to be a member of a sect, the price one had to pay was freedom. Xiao Feng, this is for you. I believe you will be able to use it at critical moments. Lin Fei took out a small bag. It was the runes bag, a disposable item. Are you leaving? Jean Feng said faintly. She didn't take the bag of runes. Lin Fei was indeed ready to leave. He nodded. It's time to return to the sect. I've been out for more than half a year. It's time to go back. It was a very casual sentence. Jean Feng actually burst into tears. Before Lin Fei came back to his senses, she directly hugged him and pressed her hot body against Lin Fei. Don't say it. Let me remember this feeling again. Lin Fei was not a stone-hearted person. He held back the words he wanted to say. Smelling the faint body fragrance, he already understood what it meant. Jean Feng liked him. Lin Fei never thought that he would be liked by a girl. It seemed that he had always been the one chasing girls. No girl had ever chased him. At this moment, Lin Fei was very proud. It should be no problem to push her down now, right? Somehow, Lin Fei came up with this idea. Lin Fei didn't move. Jean Feng didn't move either. At this time, the atmosphere between the two was very ambiguous. Half an hour later, Jean Feng hugged Lin Fei and slowly released him. I will remember this day. Lin Fei, who turned his head, saw Jean Feng's red eyes. Lin Fei sighed softly. Why are you doing this? Suddenly, Jean Feng kissed him. I do. I like you. You are the first man who made me fall in love with you. This time, Jean Feng actually confessed her love. Last time he was counterattacked and kissed. Unexpectedly, this time he was counterattacked again. Last time he didn't pay attention. This time it was the same. Damn, counterattacked me? Lin Fei didn't hesitate. His brain was full of blood. He directly counterattacked and kissed her fiercely. For more than half a year, Lin Fei stayed away from girls. In addition to the counterattack and the matter of practicing martial arts, he had been suppressing his desire. In terms of kissing skills, how could Jean Feng be the opponent of Lin Fei? What wet kiss, what tongue kiss, Jean Feng moaned and gasped. Her face was all red. Her whole body collapsed in Lin Fei's arms. She was weak. Apart from moaning, there was nothing else. Brother Lin, take me. You don't regret it. I don't regret it. I know you will have many women in the future. As long as you can occupy a part of your heart, I will be very happy. Jean Feng was firm. Lin Fei reached out and kissed her. From now on, you are my woman. That night, Jean Feng became Lin Fei's woman, the first woman in Xiantian continent. Lin Fei stayed for another 3 days. During these 3 days, Lin Fei accompanied Jean Feng. On the day of departure, Lin Fei left a large number of pure elemental pills and treasures to Jean Feng. It was enough for her to cultivate for the next 10 years. It would not be a problem for her to become a Xianling expert. Just like that, Lin Fei left Mountain River City with Jean Feng's heart. She didn't know that it was 10 years later when Lin Fei came back again, out of Mountain River City. Lin Fei had a feeling of parting. No one can resist the charm of Wenxiang. It almost makes me want to stay and be the king of the mountain. Lin Fei sighed. He finally understood why those heroes and ancient emperors were willing to abandon their country and country for a woman, all for the woman in their hearts. Withdrawing his thoughts, the wings of the wind appeared behind him, and he flew towards the Divine Force sect. The last time he went down the mountain was 7 months ago. Lin Fei was travel-worn. This time, it only took him 1 day to reach the territory of the Divine Force sect. After arriving at the territory of the Divine Force sect, Lin Fei simply stopped and leisurely went to the Divine Force sect. Anyway, There was more than enough time for the promise of half a year. When standing at the foot of the mountain again, Lin Fei sighed. 7 months ago, I was just a low-level martial artist. Now, even a king stage expert is no longer a match for me. I'm afraid none of the geniuses in the divine martial arts sect are as strong as me. Lin Fei lifted his head and looked at the mountain path. The divine force sect was as usual. The path at the foot of the mountain was filled with disciples of the divine force sect. Many of them were new disciples because the divine force sect had recruited a new batch of disciples. The first thing Lin Fei did when he returned to the Divine Force sect was to meet Gao Chong. They were his only friends in the Divine Force sect. When he was in the Divine Force sect for 5 years, he only had a few friends, and Gao Chong was one of them. After finding the direction, Lin Fei went straight to where Gao Chong was, which was where the low-level disciples were. Junior brother Li Wudi, you have to think this through. If you're going to protect this person, then you're going against senior brother Eternal Wind. You've just been promoted to an inner disciple, while senior brother Eternal Wind is a veteran inner disciple. I advise you not to offend him. On the training field of the Divine Force sect, the atmosphere was tense. Li Wudi stood in front of Gao Chong, who was supported by someone behind him. His face was pale, and it was obvious that he was injured. In front of Li Wudi were a few inner disciples, who were staring at him impolitely. Li Wudi said coldly, "Forgive me for not being able to accept senior brother's request. Gao Chong is a friend of mine. Furthermore, during the sparring earlier, it was clearly that person who launched a sneak attack on him, which resulted in his dantian being destroyed. All the disciples saw it clearly. Even if this matter were to be reported to the elders, you would still be the ones to suffer. I believe senior brother Eternal Wind wouldn't blame the elders for this, right?" Gao Chong was very excited. Although he knew that it was because of Lin Fei, he was still very excited. "Senior brother Wudi, this matter was caused by me. I, Gao Chong, will take responsibility for what I did," Gao Chong said in a low voice. He knew that senior brother Chong Feng was powerful, and he did not want Li Wudi to be involved. Most of the veteran inner disciples had reached the mystic adept realm, and they were qualified to become elders in the Divine Force sect. It was not a good thing to make things difficult for these inner disciples. Li Wudi glared at him. "I'm good friends with Lin Fei. Your matter is my matter. Junior brother Gao Chong, you don't have to say anything. Li Wudi, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. If it was something else, we could let it go on account of your talent. It's hard to avoid mistakes in sparring, but this friend of yours injured senior brother Chongfeng's only nephew and destroyed his dantian. If you want to be a good person, let's see how strong you are." The man snorted coldly. "Attack!" The surrounding disciples did not dare to say anything. Senior brother Eternal Wind had a resounding reputation among the inner disciples. Adding on the fact that such a huge matter had happened, even some of the elders would give him face. Moreover, Gao Chong was only in the 8th level of the martial path, so he had no value at all. Whoosh! 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 2 of the 3 rushed at Li Wudi, and 1 went for Gao Chong. Li Wudi's face darkened, and he immediately felt a great pressure. In half a year, he had risen from Mystic Adept Realm to Mid-Stage Mystic Adept Realm, and the 2 rushing at him were both in the late stage. Icebound World. Whoosh! Frost origin energy swept out, and the surrounding area suddenly turned into a white world, trapping the 2 disciples. A moment later, they broke out of the ice, accompanied by disdain. Icebound World. So this is the basic battle technique. One of them sneered and threw a punch at Li Wudi. Tiger Cannon. 3 punches. A tiger's roar resounded through the air. Li Wudi's face darkened again, and he was immediately surrounded. "Humph, who dares hurt my friend?" Pft. Chapter 306. As the 2 late-stage abstruse disciples were sent flying, everyone was shocked. A young man had appeared in front of Li Wudi at some point in time. He looked angry, and everyone present could feel his anger. It was an undisguised anger. What's going on? Just who is this person? He's so angry. Did he attack just now? What terrifying strength! He sent 2 senior brothers, flying with one move. Why does he look so familiar? Right? Isn't he senior brother Lin Fei, the dark horse of the outer sect assembly half a year ago? What? He's senior brother Lin Fei? How can he be so powerful? I remember he was only at the 7th or 8th stage of the martial path. How long has it been? How did his strength soar so quickly? Terrifying. This is too terrifying. The person who had appeared was none other than Lin Fei, who had rushed all the way from the foot of the mountain. With his powerful perception, he could easily see the situation on the field. That was why he attacked in a rage and sent the 2 disciples flying. Even so, the 2 disciples would have to be bedridden for at least half a year. If they were somewhere else, it wouldn't be as simple as being heavily injured. They would have been killed on the spot. Junior brother Lin Fei. Li Wudi was also shocked and couldn't help but cry out in alarm. Gao Chong, who was behind him, was also shocked. The inner disciple who had pounced on him was now lying on the ground like a dead dog. If it weren't for his aura, he would have suspected that he was already dead. More importantly, he didn't even see how Li Wudi attacked. Lin Fei turned his head. Yeah, I'm back. If I didn't come back, how would I know that my friends were being bullied? Li Wudi knew that Lin Fei's strength had improved by leaps and bounds in Mountain River City. Now that he saw Lin Fei again, he felt that his strength was unfathomable. Lin Fei, you're finally back. I thought I wouldn't see you again. Gao Chong was happy, but when he heard Lin Fei's words, his heart warmed and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Lin Fei appeared in front of Gao Chong and took out a healing pill. Don't talk. Eat the pill first. Someone wasn't too happy. You're Lin Fei? Qi Zhen glared at him with a stern face. Lin Fei turned his head and with a whoosh appeared in front of him. He closed the distance of several dozen meters in an instant and grabbed him by the throat. With a wave of his hand, he slapped him. Pa, 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 pa. The deafening sound reverberated throughout the martial arts arena. The crowd was in an uproar. Humph! You dare to offend a friend of mine, Lin Fei? How dare you? Lin Fei coldly snorted and immediately pointed his finger. The Divine Force sect has more trash like you, causing the Divine Force sect to be in a foul atmosphere. Ah, my Dantian. Lin Fei waved his hand and slapped him again. So what if I cripple your Dantian? You attacked my friend for a martial arts disciple. Now that I've crippled your Dantian, do you have the ability to fight me? Qi Zhen was in so much pain that he wished he were dead. He looked like he had aged more than 10 years. He had not expected that in such a short period of time, he, who had been strutting around earlier, would turn into a cripple in the blink of an eye. Ah, bastard, you destroyed my Dantian. The Elder will not let you off. Lin Fei waved his hand, and Qi Zhen was thrown out like a piece of trash. He fell to the ground and rolled away. Then he clapped his hands and looked around. Those who know him, feel free to go and report. I, Lin Fei, will wait here. A mere inner sect disciple. Lin Fei did not take him seriously at all. Qi Zhen was a profound perfection realm expert and was only one step away from the mystic adept realm. The disciples did not expect that Lin Fei half a year ago would be so brutal and cripple Qi Zhen's Dantian as soon as he attacked. This was a profound perfection realm expert disciple, and an inner sect disciple at that. Yet he destroyed his Dantian with one finger. Crazy, he must be crazy. Could it be that he was not afraid of the law enforcement hall's punishment? No one could figure out what was going on. Lin Fei, you were too impulsive. How could you destroy Qi Zhen's Dantian? What should we do now? Li Wudi's face was full of worry as he frowned. The Divine Martial Gate did not forbid martial arts competitions. Even if someone was injured, it was pardonable. But once it involved the destruction of someone's Dantian, it was a serious matter. Lin Fei chuckled. Brother Wudi, since I dared to make a move, it means that I had full confidence. Don't you think that they went overboard just now? Li Wuti nodded in anger. They did go overboard. Gao Chang accidentally destroyed his Dantian during a spar. That was a sneak attack and hidden weapons. He only has himself to blame. Instead, they wanted to take Gao Chang away. The divine martial gates rules were broken by these disciples. I still have to thank you for today's matter. Otherwise, Gao Chang would not have been able to keep his strength. Lin Fei said gratefully. Li Wuti glared at him. If you treat me as a friend, then don't say such words. Lin Fei could feel that Li Wuti's words came from the bottom of his heart. Although they had not known each other for a long time, Li Wuti had stood up for Gao Chang when he was in trouble. Haha, of course you are my friend. You destroyed Qi Zhen's Dantian. The disciples of the law enforcement hall will be here soon. Why don't you go to Uncle Zhang Wen and explain things clearly? They won't dare to make things difficult for you anymore. Li Wuti suggested. Lin Fei shook his head. No need. I just want to see if they will protect Qi Zhen and his group, or Lin Fei, I think Brother Wuti's suggestion is good. The disciples of the law enforcement hall are all inner disciples. Maybe one of them is familiar with Changfeng's group. Gao Chang's complexion had improved. Li Wuti and Gao Chang were worried that Lin Fei would not bow down, especially since he had crippled Qi Zhen and injured 3 inner disciples. The law enforcement hall would not be polite. Moreover, there were also veteran inner disciples behind them. They might put pressure on them. Inner disciples could be mighty in the divine martial gate, but they had no confidence in front of the disciples of the law enforcement hall. Any inner disciple who was taken away by the disciples of the law enforcement hall ended up in a miserable state, especially when something so serious happened. Whoosh! 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 The disciples of the law enforcement hall had arrived. They were in groups of 15. They were dressed in black and held black locks in their hands. Killing intent surged from them. One look and anyone could tell that they were not easy to negotiate with. Suddenly, a vacuum appeared on the training field. The disciples of the divine martial gate were so scared that they left. Not good. I know the disciple leading the group. Li Wuti's complexion turned ugly. He recognized the origin of the disciple leading the group. He's in the same circle as Changfeng. Gao Chang's expression changed as well. The worst-case scenario had occurred. Senior brother Changfeng's influence was really great. He even made the law enforcement hall take action. Disciple Lin Fei is in trouble. Who doesn't know that Qi Zhen is senior brother Changfeng's man? Now that he crippled Qi Zhen, senior brother Changfeng will definitely not let this go. The disciples of the law enforcement hall are all here. Anyone brought in will definitely suffer a great deal of damage. I wonder if senior brother Lin Fei is going to obediently leave, or is he going to resist? Everyone's eyes were filled with fear when they mentioned the law enforcement hall. Then they looked at Lin Fei with schadenfreude. A newly promoted inner disciple had offended a veteran inner disciple. Wasn't that just asking for trouble? If it were them, they wouldn't do such a thing, even if they were beaten to death. We're from the law enforcement hall. Who's Lin Fei? Come out. Wang Chang was expressionless. At the same time, he noticed that Qi Zhen, who was being helped up, had a strange expression. Senior brother Wang Chang, he's Lin Fei. Qi Zhen's eyes were filled with resentment. He was the first to point out, but he was extremely weak. With his Dantian destroyed, Qi Zhen's only wish was to kill Lin Fei to vent his anger. With his Dantian destroyed, it couldn't be repaired unless it was a miraculous pill. You're Lin Fei. Wang Chang's eyes were cold. You really have guts to destroy someone's Dantian in front of everyone. And the 2 of you, come with us to the law enforcement hall. Behind Wang Chang, 4 disciples of the law enforcement hall walked up. They were all mystic adepts. Mystic adepts were the most basic requirement to become a disciple of the law enforcement hall. Don't worry. With me here today, I want to see who dares to touch us. Lin Fei snorted coldly. He couldn't help but shake his head. He was very dissatisfied with the way the law enforcement hall handled things. "Take him down!" 4 law enforcement hall disciples, 2 on the left and 2 on the right, charged at Lin Fei. They were already used to dealing with this kind of person. The black iron chain coiled over like a long snake. This was the auxiliary spirit treasure refined by the divine martial sect. It could suppress Jin Yuan and prevent martial artists from using it. The strength of a martial artist lay in their true essence. Once their true essence was suppressed, it was the same as losing their strength. When the divine martial sect's law enforcement hall made a move on a disciple, no one could stop them. They could only obediently be taken away by the law enforcement hall disciples. This was mainly because of the auxiliary spirit treasure. No matter how strong one was, they were nothing if they couldn't use true essence. Get lost! For streaks of light shot out, and the 4 law enforcement hall disciples were sent flying. It was unknown whether they were dead or alive. Li Wudi and Gao Chong felt their scalps go numb, their mouths agape. When did Lin Fei become so strong? He actually defeated 4 mystic adept law enforcers in one move. It was like a dream. The surrounding disciples of the divine martial sect were all stunned. Lin Fei really made a move and even injured the law enforcement hall disciples. Didn't he know how strong the law enforcement hall was? Something big had happened. Something really big had happened. Go back and tell Senior Brother Changfeng that if he wants to make a move, let him do it himself. Don't sneak around. Lin Fei said indifferently, "You law enforcement hall disciples can only scare ordinary disciples. It's useless against me." Wang Chang's face was cold. He was shocked. Didn't Lin Fei just become an inner disciple? How can he be so strong? I can't see through his strength. Did he have some fortuitous encounter outside? Being able to become a disciple of the law enforcement hall and a squad leader, Wang Chang's mind was deep. His own strength was only at the late mystic adept realm, and his 4 disciples were sent flying. Naturally, he wouldn't go up and look for trouble. If he didn't bring them back today, he would lose face. How would the people in the law enforcement hall look at him? How would the disciples of the divine martial sect look at the law enforcement hall disciples? What should I do? What should I do? Wang Chang was at a loss. Suddenly, Wang Chang frowned with a hint of joy in his eyes. Chapter 307. It was a hot potato. Wang Chang, a disciple of the enforcement hall, finally understood what it meant to be a hot potato. If a disciple of the enforcement hall couldn't suppress a newly promoted inner disciple, he would be a laughing stock. In fact, he really couldn't suppress Chi-Chi. Just as he was worrying about what to do, Eternal Wind's appearance resolved his embarrassment. At least he had a reason to step down. Qi Zhen is Eternal Wind's man. It's good that he's here. If Eternal Wind can suppress Lin Fei, then everything will be fine. If Eternal Wind can't suppress Lin Fei with the strength of a mystic adept, then I can only ask the elders to take action. Wang Chang had become a disciple of the enforcement hall and a captain, so he was naturally scheming. He planned to observe for a while before making a decision. Senior Eternal Wind is here. A sword light flew over from the horizon, and a person could be vaguely seen standing on it. As the sword light flew over, many streaks of light appeared in the surroundings, all of which were inner disciples. News of what happened in the arena spread quickly, coupled with the fact that Eternal Wind was very famous among the inner disciples. It naturally attracted the attention of the inner disciples. Moreover, it was very rare for a newly promoted inner court disciple to dare criticize a veteran inner court disciple. Lin Fei, we've caused a lot of inner disciples to be unhappy, Li Wudi said in a low voice. Even though Li Wudi was famous among the outer disciples, he was only slightly famous among the inner disciples. So it was only natural for him to be nervous when he saw so many famous inner disciples. Did they teach you a lesson? Lin Fei was very direct. Li Wudi laughed dryly. This is already the inner sect's rule. Newly promoted inner disciples are always challenged by others. Just take it as a lesson to prevent new disciples from challenging veteran disciples in the future. Lin Fei came to a sudden realization. I was just wondering why so many inner court disciples showed up. It turns out I'm the one who broke the rules of this trade. Li Wudi smiled bitterly. That's why we're in big trouble. It's said that among the inner disciples, there are very few geniuses who haven't been taught a lesson. You're an exception. Lin Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He had only made a move to teach someone a lesson, but he had unknowingly broken the unspoken rules of the inner court and actually incurred the displeasure of the inner court disciples. However, this is also good. Uncle Zhang recommended me to participate in the dynasty war. I am a newly promoted disciple and have no reputation among the inner disciples. Everyone will not agree to it, and the elders will not agree to it either. Today, I can use them to intimidate them and save myself some trouble later. Lin Fei thought about it and clicked the pass button. Whoosh, 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 silhouettes flickered and landed around the ring. Walala, his gaze instantly landed on Lin Fei, curiously sizing up this inner sect disciple, arrogantly and despotically destroying Qi Zhen's dantian. This method was really cruel. He is Lin Fei? It's just ordinary. I really don't know what gave him the courage to offend Senior Brother Eternal Wind and teach a law enforcement hall's disciple a lesson. Could this Lin Fei be cultivating some kind of special cultivation technique? Why can't I see his strength? The inner sect disciples gathered in twos and threes, quietly discussing. Then they found Lin Fei was different. They couldn't see through his strength. The cryptic spirit realm? Someone started to guess. Then, all the inner sect disciples couldn't help but shake their heads. The cryptic spirit realm was a core disciple in the divine force sect, which was higher than the inner sect disciples. Usually, when they saw him, they had to call him Senior Brother. It was rare for more than 10 inner sect disciples to appear at the same time. Usually, the inner sect disciples were either cultivating or going out to complete tasks. It was rare for them to be so free. Today was the only exception. You are the Lin Fei who destroyed Qi Zhen's dantian? After landing, Eternal Wind in cyan clothes glanced over with his eyes like lightning, and his momentum was oppressive. Don't try to test me. This pressure is useless to me, Lin Fei said indifferently. The pressure in front of him instantly disappeared. Qi Zhen's dantian was destroyed by me. If you want to help your people, just do it. As for the law enforcement hall, don't count on them. Eternal Wind was surprised. Seeing Wang Chang's apologetic look, he couldn't help but curse in his heart. You took my benefits and didn't do anything. What a bastard. Originally, Eternal Wind was accompanying his junior sister. When he heard that his nephew's dantian was destroyed, he asked Qi Zhen to bring the people over and let his nephew deal with them. In the end, Qi Zhen's dantian was destroyed and he became a cripple. Therefore, he asked someone to inform Wang Chang of the law enforcement hall to take the people away, and then he would deal with them. After sending his junior sister away, Eternal Wind came in person. He didn't expect that things would change so much. Seeing Wang Chang's look, Eternal Wind knew that he had to do it himself. If he hadn't tested him with the pressure before, it might have been nothing. But the other party easily broke through his pressure. Eternal Wind had a bad feeling. Moreover, there were other inner sect disciples here. They obviously wanted to see him make a fool of himself. His nephew's dantian was destroyed. His subordinate's dantian was destroyed. He had to take revenge. Otherwise, how could he continue to stay in this circle? Junior Brother Lin Fei, it's good that you admit it. Chang Feng said, since you dared to lay a heavy hand on an inner court disciple, Senior Brother will come and experience exactly how strong you are. Whoosh, Eternal Wind's long sword flew in the air, making a loud sound. Sword Qi rain. Drip, 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 drip. Rainwater fell from the sky between Lin Fei and Chang Feng, hitting the ground. Everywhere the rainwater passed, the limestone was filled with holes. This was the rainwater sword principle that Eternal Wind cultivated. His swordsmanship had been cultivated to the great success level. As expected of senior brother Eternal Wind, the power of the rainwater sword principle is even stronger than before. With this move alone, I think that Lin Fei won't be able to break it. His defeat is inevitable. Senior brother Eternal Wind's moves are extraordinary, just like before. The sword rain fell from the sky, surrounding Lin Fei. If an ordinary disciple were to face this move, they would definitely be terrified. Its power was too strong. The strength of the divine Martial Gates disciples can't be underestimated. This rainwater sword principle is clearly a Tao that is close to the state. Could it be the rainwater Tao after cultivating it to the great success level? Lin Fei was slightly surprised. If this is senior brother Eternal Wind's strongest move, I'm afraid that senior brother is going to lose. Lin Fei walked forward leisurely, wandering through the rain. All the rain was blown away by the cool breeze. The sharp rain collapsed, not harming Lin Fei in the slightest. Uproar. The inner sect disciples were the most shocked. They had all experienced senior brother Eternal Wind's rainwater sword principle. Once trapped, it would definitely be a difficult thing to deal with and break. But now, Lin Fei was actually unharmed. They almost suspected that they had seen it wrong. If they were not wrong, how could he block the rainwater sword principle? Hiss! Eternal Wind took a deep, cold breath. The rainwater sword principle inherited the rainwater. It was continuous and airtight. After cultivating it to the great success level, its power was boundless, and few could break it. It's just a bluff. Eternal Wind snorted and changed the rainwater sword principle again. Continuous sword rain. First clear after the rain. Violent wind and rainstorm. In an instant, Eternal Wind changed his moves and used his strongest moves. He rarely used them during sparring and treated them as his trump cards. Senior brother Eternal Wind is using his ultimate move. The inner sect disciples naturally hoped that Eternal Wind could defeat his opponent and teach Lin Fei a lesson. If Eternal Wind lost, they wouldn't be able to raise their faces. Even the senior inner sect disciples couldn't suppress a newly promoted inner sect disciple. They would all hold their anger in their hearts. Let's see how you block it this time. Eternal Wind sneered in his heart. At the same time, he secretly used the rainwater sword principle to cripple Lin Fei. Even if the law enforcement hall wanted to punish him, he could say that it was because he didn't fully grasp the moves. His nephew was crippled. This already made Eternal Wind angry. In addition, Qi Zhen's Dantian was crippled. With all these factors added together, he had to vent his anger. Whew! The wind came and the rain dispersed. Eternal Wind only felt a cool breeze blowing over. The sword rain that he executed actually drifted away with the wind and disappeared without a trace. How could this be? Eternal Wind was astonished. This was out of his expectation and imagination. Lin Fei's cold voice sounded in his ears. Originally, I wanted to teach you a lesson and didn't want to make things difficult for you. However, you used a sword move to cripple my Dantian. If it was someone else, they might fall for it. To deal with a narrow-minded person like you, becoming an ordinary person is the most suitable. No, Eternal Wind was terrified. His secret move was discovered by his opponent. His face instantly turned pale and he let out a scream. Lin Fei casually pointed his finger at Eternal Wind's Dantian. To deal with such a person, Lin Fei wouldn't show any mercy, especially when he was a narrow-minded person. Eternal Wind was sent flying and crashed into the edge of the stage. His powerful aura dissipated along with it. He was on the verge of death, no longer as mighty as before. Senior brother Eternal Wind. Senior brother Eternal Wind. His Dantian has been destroyed. It's over, it's over. The spectating inner core disciples didn't expect the situation to take such a drastic turn. Senior brother Eternal Wind who executed a powerful move. Didn't even last for a round before his dantian was destroyed by Lin Fei. In a single day, the dantian of 2 inner court disciples was destroyed. Furthermore, the one who did it was a newly promoted inner court disciple. This was no different from a slap to their faces. Lin Fei looked around and said, "Senior brother Eternal Wind wanted to cripple my dantian. This is called the cycle of karma. If there is a senior brother here who is dissatisfied, feel free to spar with me. Otherwise, scram as far as you can." Arrogant. The inner court disciples felt as if they were slapped in the face. "Lin Feiyu," an inner court disciple said angrily before he was sent flying. In an instant, the crowd fell silent. Lin Fei looked at Wang Chong and said, "Senior brother Wang, are you going to bring me back?" Wang Chong was dumbfounded. When he regained his senses, he smiled and said, "Junior brother, you're joking. This is just a spar. The enforcement hall usually doesn't deal with such matters." Chapter 308. Facing the ferocious Lin Fei. Wang Chong, the disciple of the law enforcement hall, had no choice but to lower his head. This was a result he had never imagined. When Chongfeng's dantian was destroyed and he became a cripple, Wang Chong knew that he had to lower his head. If he didn't lower his head, what if he became ferocious and crippled himself? Wang Chong didn't want to become a cripple because it wasn't worth it. So what if he lowered his head? Survival was the most important thing. Chongfeng's rainwater sword Dao was extraordinary. Even Wang Chong himself couldn't break it, and his chances of winning weren't high either. But it was easily broken by Chongfeng. This was called strength. What could he do if he didn't accept it? Chongfeng had already become a cripple. He was no different from a dead man and had lost his value. It was like a living person and a dead person. No matter how mighty and domineering one was when he was alive, once he died, he would vanish into thin air. On the Xiantian continent, strength was everything. If you lost strength, you would lose the right to speak. Thus, Wang Chong smiled apologetically and left with the disciple of the law enforcement hall. As the disciple of the law enforcement hall left, the scene was silent. Then the inner sect disciples also left, or rather, they left with grievances. The inner sect disciples were swatted away like flies. Lin Fei's strength had already made them feel fear. How could they dare to stay? This Lin Fei was too ferocious, terrifyingly ferocious. He would never reach the king realm in his life. Right now, the only thing they wanted to do was to bring the news back. As for the inner sect disciple who was swatted away, he had already left. He didn't have the face to stay. Whether he went to find help or something else, no one knew. At least, he was bitterly disappointed. Finally, it's quiet. Lin Fei didn't take the previous incident to heart. He wasn't afraid of the elder coming to find him. 5 years ago, he was in a sorry state. So what if he was high profile now? He turned around and found that Li Wudi and Gao Chong were looking at him as if he was a monster. What? Is there something on my face? Li Wudi and Gao Chong were both in shock. Chongfeng and the disciple of the law enforcement hall had admitted defeat, just like that. It was like a dream. No. The two shook their heads. Lin Fei suddenly understood what was going on. No matter how much my strength increases, the two of you are still my friends. It won't change because of the difference in strength. In the past 5 years, the Divine Force sect didn't leave many memories for Lin Fei, and he didn't have many friends. Li Wudi sighed. I thought I'd be able to catch up to him in half a year, but I didn't expect the gap to be so wide. I'm afraid I won't be able to catch up to him for the rest of my life. Senior brother Everwind is done for. Gao Chong did not have much admiration for the inner sect disciples. I realize that I can finally show off for a bit. Everyone has to be polite to me. Lin Fei and Li Wudi laughed. I'm happy today. Let's go drink. In the Divine Force Gate there were many mountains. At this moment, on a mountain peak, an inner disciple landed on the peak of the mountain and immediately ran toward a residence. Junior brother Zhangxing, is someone trying to kill you? In the courtyard, there were two people playing chess. One of them put down a chess piece and joked, "Senior Brotherly, you guessed it right. If it wasn't for my good luck, I might have been crippled." Zhang Xing sighed. "You guys don't know, but something big happened today." Then, Zhang Xing told him what had happened earlier. The two of them unknowingly stopped playing chess. "You're saying that Everwine's rainwater sword Dao was easily broken by that person? Can't you tell what move he used?" asked the person called Senior Brotherly in surprise. Zhang Xing nodded. "It was a very strange attack. I only felt like a wind blew by, and then Everwine's attack was broken. He broke Everwine's Dantian with one move. It was unbelievably fast. Looks like something big happened," Senior Brotherly said in a deep voice. "There's an amazing person in our Divine Force sect. Maybe he has already reached the cryptic spirit realm and can become a core disciple," the other person said with a grave expression. Zhang Xing was shocked. "Is that possible? Nothing is impossible. To be able to break the rainwater sword Dao so easily, he must be at the cryptic spirit realm. I'm afraid those core disciples will have a headache. This Lin Fei is really amazing." Interesting. I thought there were only a few people competing among the core disciples, but now there's this Lin Fei. He seems to be quite strong. He'll be a good opponent." Lei Meng stood up, his body making cracking sounds. Lei Meng was one of the core disciples. His position was a level higher than the inner disciples, and he was at the cryptic spirit realm. In such a large divine force sect, they would be the first to know if anything happened. "Senior Brother Lei, should we go and rope him in?" an inner disciple asked. Lei Meng shook his head. "There's no need to rope him in for now, because he doesn't have the qualifications to do so. He crippled two inner disciples in a row. Wait until he has to deal with the law enforcement hall and the elders' questions. Then he will have the qualifications. Right now, the one with a headache is the blood shadow behind Changfeng. Changfeng was his right-hand man. Now that he's dead, it's the same as losing an expert. Let's see how his strength has improved." Don't look at how peaceful the inner sect disciples were. What they didn't know was that there were many factions within. Core disciples recruited inner sect disciples, and inner sect disciples recruited outer sect disciples. They formed many circles, and the struggles were complicated. The divine martial gate's upper echelons turned a blind eye to this, allowing the inner sect disciples to compete more easily. On the Blood Shadow Mountain Peak. In the Divine Force sect, anyone who became a core disciple would have a mountain peak, and they could choose a name for it. The Blood Shadow Mountain Peak was Blood Shadow's residence. "Senior Brother Blood Shadow, you have to help me vent my anger. Junior Brother is finished." Changfeng, whose face was pale, was carried to the Blood Shadow Mountain Peak. He knelt on the ground and wailed. After his Dantian was broken, he became very weak, and he seemed to have aged more than 10 years. Opposite Changfeng was Blood Shadow in a red robe. He was a core disciple of the Divine Force sect, and it was said that he had the chance to become a King Realm expert. Many inner disciples came to join him. Blood Shadow looked at his trusted man. After Changfeng broke through to the cryptic spirit realm, he became his right-hand man. He didn't expect that he would be crippled just like that. It was inevitable that he would be angry. If a core disciple wanted to have the right to speak in the Divine Force sect, he had to have many experts around him. Only then would he be able to call for help. Now that one of his right-hand men had been crippled, Blood Shadow felt pain and endless anger. There were very few things that could make a core disciple angry. Even the elders would give them face. Among the core disciples, Shui-Ing was one of the stronger ones. Everyone gave him some face. Don't hit people in the face. This was the jargon. Now, not only did Lin Fei defeat Changfeng, but he also slapped Blood Shadow in the face. This was obviously not giving him face, and he didn't take him, a core disciple, seriously. Ever since Blood Shadow became a core disciple, he rarely got angry. "Changfeng, you are one of my people. I will definitely avenge you," Blood Shadow said. Everyone knew that Changfeng was one of his people. He had to avenge him. Otherwise, it would be bad for the people below him. How do you want to deal with him? Tell me. Thank you, Senior Blood Shadow, for avenging me. I don't ask for anything else. I just want to cripple Lin Fei. Changfeng's eyes were filled with hatred. This was the only thing he could ask for. Okay, even if you don't say it, I will do it myself and cripple that person. Blood Shadow's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Now, tell me in detail how you fought with Lin Fei. Blood Shadow wasn't a reckless person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have become a core disciple. What happened in the arena spread like wildfire in less than half a day. Lin Fei's name shocked everyone once again. Half a year ago, he became a dark horse and made all the disciples remember this name. Half a year later, Lin Fei disappeared for half a year as usual. Everyone thought that he would be unknown. Who would have thought that he would soar to the sky again? First, he defeated Qi Zhen and a few other inner court disciples. Then he threatened the law enforcement hall disciples and crippled senior brother Changfeng. No matter which one it was unimaginable. Lin Fei, the inner court disciple, did all of them. In the divine martial gate, Lin Fei became famous. His fame was not small. He was already catching up to those core disciples. His cruel methods were also left in their hearts. They would never forget it for the rest of their lives. As for the disciples who had offended him in the past, they were all uneasy. They were afraid that Lin Fei would hold a grudge against them. Inner court disciples could be crippled just like that, let alone them. Martial artists weren't afraid of fighting and killing. The only thing they were afraid of was having their dantian crippled. No matter how strong you were, after losing your dantian, you would become an ordinary person, just a little stronger than an ordinary person. That night, in Lin Fei's courtyard, many inner court disciples came in person. Other than the polite words, there were more polite words. Other than the familiar face, they didn't want to offend this inner court disciple. There were even rumors that Lin Fei's strength was already qualified to become a core disciple. As such, it would be strange if the inner sect disciples didn't rush over. Inside the Divine Force sect, the inner sect disciples without any organization were like floating duckweed without any foundation. It wasn't easy for them to mingle in the Divine Force sect, and their status was obviously one level lower than the others. If Lin Fei could become a core disciple, they could also straighten their chests and wouldn't have to lower their heads to others. Lin Fei thanked them one by one. He didn't reject them. Awesome. By the time he finished sending off the inner disciples, it was already close to midnight. Chapter 309. P.S. Home renovation. No electricity for half the afternoon. Update late. Thanks to Luo Yuxuan for the tip and update tickets. Thanks to Dragon in Chu Tian and Fiery Flood for their comments. Thank you for your support. In the early morning of the Divine Force sect, the breeze was gentle, quiet, and peaceful. As the sun rose, the Divine Martial sect, which was a huge sect, was like a machine that had been fitted with gears. It slowly started to operate again, welcoming a brand new day. Drinking without using true yuan, I will have a headache the next day. Lin Fei lazily opened the window and took a deep breath. The faint headache was a real feeling. Since coming to the Xiantian continent, Lin Fei rarely went to drink. Yesterday was an exception. He was too happy, too excited, and he didn't even know how much he had drunk, and he didn't even know when it was over. The true yuan in his body operated, and the faint headache disappeared. He let out a long breath, feeling refreshed and comfortable. First, he went to the yard and practiced a set of fist techniques until he was sweating profusely. If only Blue Luan was here. Picking up the towel, Lin Fei thought of Blue Luan. He wondered how Blue Luan was now. Subconsciously, Lin Fei clenched his fists, hating the person who took Blue Luan. Soon I will find you. After taking a shower, Lin Fei changed his clothes. There was a special canteen for the inner disciples. After coming out, all the inner disciples on the way came up to talk to him, or nodded with a smile. After hearing about yesterday's shocking action, which inner disciple didn't show off, it was necessary to be familiar. After going out for more than half a year, Lin Fei finally had time to sit down and enjoy breakfast. He didn't have to be in a hurry, as if he was fighting a war. Lin Fei ate while paying attention to the surroundings. He found that the surrounding inner disciples all sat far away. Lin Fei was amused by this. After breakfast, Lin Fei walked out of the canteen. Walking out of the cafeteria, Lin Fei frowned, and then a smile appeared on his face. Is it finally here? Ever since he crippled Changfeng, an inner disciple, yesterday, Lin Fei knew that such a day would come. The only thing he didn't expect was that they couldn't sit still. That's fine too. Core disciples? This was even more of a deterrent. It's more satisfying to fight. Lin Fei thought, after teaching a lesson to a core disciple, I don't think anyone will come looking for trouble, right? Walala, walala, the road to the cafeteria was suddenly filled with tension. Senior Brother Bloodshadow is here. This is going to be a good show. I wonder how it will turn out. Senior Brother Bloodshadow. It is said that our divine martial sect's core disciple has the potential to become a king-class expert. Lin Fei was just lucky. Now that he met Senior Brother Bloodshadow, how could he just obediently admit defeat and kowtow to admit his mistake? That's not necessarily true. Maybe Senior Brother Lin Fei will amaze the world again. Among the inner disciples, there were people who supported Senior Brother Bloodshadow. Of course, there were also people who thought highly of Senior Brother Lin Fei. Senior Brother Bloodshadow had a large group of inner disciples under him. It might not be beneficial for them to flatter him. However, if they were to flatter Senior Brother Lin Fei, if they really succeeded, the benefits would be unimaginable. Junior Brother Lin Fei? Bloodshadow was wearing a red robe. His eyes were cold as he looked at Lin Fei, who was not far away. From yesterday's news, Bloodshadow had already recognized Lin Fei with a single glance. Senior Brother Bloodshadow. From the two's words, everyone could hear the killing intent in them. This made everyone sigh. This Lin Fei was really bold. He dared to be so arrogant in front of Senior Brother Bloodshadow, a core disciple. Bloodshadow was not surprised by Lin Fei's performance at all. This was why he was worthy of his attention. Otherwise, it would not be worth it for him to personally make a move, because the other party must be qualified. Junior Brother Lin Fei, you are qualified for me to personally make a move. Bloodshadow said coldly. 3 days later, you and I will fight on the arena. No one would have thought that Senior Brother Bloodshadow would personally issue a challenge. This was different from a private duel. The influence was different. In a duel on the arena, no matter which side lost, it would definitely have a great impact. Especially for someone like Senior Brother Bloodshadow. Once he lost, it would affect his position among the core disciples. Everyone was guessing whether Lin Fei dared to accept the challenge or not. Senior Brother Bloodshadow, aren't you just helping Senior Brother Changfeng to vent his anger? Why do you have to issue a challenge? It just so happens that there is no one here. Let's settle it to our heart's content. Junior Brother still has things to do. Crash, even though there were not many people eating in the canteen, there were still many people gathered outside. When they suddenly heard this, everyone was shocked. From his tone, could it be that Senior Brother Lin Fei wanted to settle it quickly? He didn't give any face at all. Indeed, Lin Fei did not give him any face. Core disciples had a high status in the divine martial sect. Even the elders had to be polite to them, not to mention those elders who did not have any power. In the divine martial sect, it was rare for a core disciple to reject a challenge. Because the other party was a core disciple, every word and action of a core disciple represented meaning. Now, an inner sect disciple rejected the challenge and chose to settle it on the spot. If they did not hear it with their own eyes, it would be hard for them to believe that these words came from Lin Fei's mouth. It was a naked slap in the face. Lin Fei, do you know who you are talking to? The inner sect disciple beside Blood Shadow said angrily. Lin Fei squinted his eyes. With strength. Without any movement, that inner sect disciple was slapped in the face and flew out. He fell and rolled 365 degrees, causing his face to be bruised. Hiss, arrogant. Too arrogant. Lin Fei looked at Blood Shadow. I like to do whatever I want. If Senior Brother Blood Shadow doesn't like it, feel free to reject it. Blood Shadow said in a deep voice. So, Junior Brother Lin Fei is not giving me face? This meant that Blood Shadow was furious. A dignified core disciple was arrogant in the divine martial sect. When he personally asked, he was rejected. This had never happened before. The other core disciples did not dare to reject like this. Now someone did it. This person was an inner sect disciple. Lin Fei squinted his eyes and said sternly, Face? Senior Brother Blood Shadow is such an old man. Do you still care about face? Nephew Changfeng wanted to deal with my friend in a duel. He only has himself to blame for having his Dantian destroyed. As for your Changfeng, he is just using his name to cause trouble. In my opinion, you don't need to care about Senior Brother's face at all. Everyone's heart was beating non-stop. Crazy! Crazy! He didn't even dare to say such arrogant words. This was really a slap to Senior Brother Blood Shadow's face, and it was a slap to his face. The applause was resounding. If it was before, Blood Shadow would be polite before using force. However, after hearing this, he was filled with anger. Not only did he not give him face, he even dared to disregard him in public, and even hit the people around him. Arrogant. He was indeed too arrogant. Could it be that he didn't know that the consequences of being too arrogant would be tragic? Junior Brother Lin Fei, you're good. Blood Shadow said angrily, You're the first to speak to me like this. No wonder you were so cruel. Today, I will seek justice for Changfeng. Boundless Blood Sea. Boom! Behind Blood Shadow, a sea of blood appeared. In the sea of blood, there were figures moving. They were all shadows, wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. A chilling aura swept across. This was the Blood Sea scripture that Blood Shadow cultivated an upper yellow-class martial art. If one's mind was not firm, their face would turn pale. It was terrifying. The sea of blood was like a vast ocean. It left a red trail of light as it charged toward Lin Fei's location. Within the sea of blood, an illusory figure with a blurry appearance slowly stood up. Then it raised its hand and smashed down with a palm strike. Scarlet light filled the sky. When the inner disciples saw Senior Brother Blood Shadow's attack, they immediately knew how big the gap between them was. With just one move, the inner disciples looked at each other. The strength of a core disciple was indeed not something they could compare with. Senior Brother Blood Shadow is really strong. Lin Fei was indeed strong yesterday. I don't think he's a match for Senior Brother Blood Shadow today. Indeed, based on Lin Fei's strength yesterday, everyone had a guess. Would it be a one-sided fight against Senior Brother Blood Shadow today? Most people thought it was the latter. Scram! Following Lin Fei's roar, a dense quintessence surged out and turned into an azure beam. It was like a rainbow as it smashed into Shui Ying's palm. Shui Ying's palm shattered and turned into nothingness. Then, as if it was piercing through space, it lashed at Shui Ying's body again. It was so fast that no one could sense it. The only thing that shocked everyone was that thick and dense True Yuan. Walala Blood Shadow was sent flying by the whip. Or rather, he was sent flying by quintessence. There was no way he could withstand a whip of quintessence. Senior Brother Blood Shadow was sent flying. How is this possible? Is Senior Brother Lin Fei even stronger than Senior Brother Blood Shadow? Seeing Blood Shadow being sent flying, the inner disciples felt as if they were dreaming. If yesterday they thought that Lin Fei had gotten lucky, then today they were completely convinced. Using pure quintessence and an ordinary strike, Lin Fan sent Senior Brother Blood Shadow flying. This was true strength, leaving everyone speechless. Blood Shadow's upper body was bare, and there were wounds all over his body. I actually lost. How can he be so strong? Even my boundless blood, was destroyed. Blood Shadow had found out yesterday that Lin Fei's advantage was speed. Blood Shadow had thought of a foolproof plan to make Lin Fei suffer a crushing defeat. In the end, he was utterly defeated. Senior Brother Blood Shadow, if you're not convinced, feel free to look for me. Lin Fei walked up, but there might not be such a good opportunity next time. Crimson Shadow was shocked, and the anger that he had gathered dissipated in an instant. Killing intent. True killing intent. That sentence just now made Blood Shadow's dantian cold, and he immediately panicked. Lin Fei wants to destroy my dantian. This was a blatant warning, a blatant threat. Blood Shadow's body shook slightly, and he squeezed out an ugly smile. I'm convinced. We admit defeat. Hiss! Senior Brother Blood Shadow admitted defeat. The result was unexpected. This was the result. They suspected that they had heard wrongly. Inner Sanctum Disciple Lin Fei, please come with us. Swoosh, 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 shadows moved, and a group of men in black appeared on the road again. Chapter 310. Senior Brother Blood Shadow actually lost. Senior Brother Lin Fei is so powerful. I really want to be his cultivation partner. He's so manly. Senior Brother Lin Fei is so mighty. Our divine force gate will soon have another core disciple. While it's still early, let's go and curry favor with him. If he values us, we'll have a good life in the future. Senior Brother Blood Shadow took the initiative to admit defeat. This already left everyone shocked. It was no different from the sun rising from the west, completely destroying their understanding of the world. The ordinary and mediocre Senior Brother Lin Fei's status suddenly became noble, magnified endlessly, and they had to look up to him. Core disciple. Senior Brother Lin Fei definitely had the strength to stabilize the strength of a core disciple. Everyone was enlightened by their previous conjecture. It turned out that Senior Brother Lin Fei himself had the strength of the cryptic spirit realm, which was why he dared to ignore Senior Brother Blood Shadow. It had only been half a year. How did Lin Fei cultivate? Then, this question appeared in their minds. Even geniuses might not have this ability, right? Monstrous. Simply too monstrous. He had used his quintessence to send Blood Shadow Senior Brother flying. Just this point alone was enough to shock everyone. Just when they couldn't digest this news, the Law Enforcement Hall disciples came again, dazzling everyone. Lin Fei looked over indifferently and found that it was his old acquaintance, Wang Chong. With just one glance, Wang Chong immediately broke out in a cold sweat. Seeing that even Senior Brother Blood Shadow was defeated, he couldn't help but feel lucky that he had been lucky yesterday. If he had fought yesterday, he would also have been in such a difficult situation. Wang Chong thought to himself. His mind shook, and he made up his mind that Lin Fei must not be offended in the future, even if he was his friend. If he could curry favor with him and flatter him, that would be great. Bastard, how can you say that? You're not polite at all. Wang Chong turned around and glared at them, then immediately scolded. Didn't I ask you to invite Senior Brother Lin Fei back? What are you talking about? Senior Brother Lin Fei is not a criminal. You're a bunch of brainless things. The disciples of the Law Enforcement Hall were all dumbfounded. They were all confused. Didn't you tell us to say that? Moreover, why should we, the disciples of the Law Enforcement Hall, be afraid of an inner court disciple? Who knows how many inner court disciples have been captured and come out with an unbelievably honest attitude? It was obvious that the disciples of the disciplinary hall were used to their current positions and had no idea what Captain Wang Chong was worried about. Inner disciples were like dogs in front of them, and they were already used to it. They hadn't expected that Wang Chong would scold them because of a disciple. After scolding him, Wang Chong strode forward and smiled apologetically. Senior Brother Lin Fei, please be magnanimous and don't bother with them. These guys don't know how to talk. At this moment, Wang Chong was indeed worried that Lin Fei would bear a grudge against him. After seeing Senior Brother Blood Shadow's miserable appearance, Wang Chong couldn't be arrogant anymore. He was just a small captain of the law enforcement hall. His identity could scare ordinary people, but how could he scare a genius like Lin Fei? Do you really think you've lived too long? How dare you go against a genius? You're definitely looking for trouble for yourself. Wang Chong, the small captain of the law enforcement hall, had a good reputation among the inner court disciples. It should be said that he had a bad reputation. When they saw such a scene, the inner court disciples couldn't help but be shocked. It turned out that the usually majestic law enforcement hall wasn't always strong, and there would be a day when they bullied the weak and feared the strong. They would never forget this scene for the rest of their lives. Elder invited me? What elder? Wang Chong looked around and asked in a pleading tone, Law enforcement elder, the details. How about we talk about it on the way? Lin Fei knew that he had to go to the law enforcement hall. Otherwise, it would be endless trouble and a headache. He might as well solve it all at once. Then let's talk on the way. Lin Fei turned his head and said to Shuang, Senior Brother Shuang, help me tell those core disciples that whoever wants to spar with me should first consider their own strength. Otherwise, don't blame me for embarrassing myself. Senior Brother Blood Shadow nodded, like a chick pecking rice. He didn't have the previous arrogance, and carefully said, I will tell them. Seeing that Lin Fei and the law enforcement hall left, Blood Shadow let out a sigh of relief. Only then did Blood Shadow let out a sigh of relief. He did not know why, but he felt an immense pressure when facing Lin Fei. He even regretted helping Eternal Wind and ended up failing miserably. What are you looking at? Get out of here! Blood Shadow roared, scaring away a group of people. The law enforcement elder is looking for me just to punish me? Lin Fei looked at Wang Chong indifferently. Wang Chang's heart skipped a beat, and his forehead was full of cold sweat. After a day's experience, Lin Fei was like a demon in his heart. Wang Chong knew how powerful Senior Brother Blood Shadow was, especially the Blood Sea Scripture, which was a high-grade yellow-class martial art that could confuse the mind. Since his debut, he had killed many experts and gained some fame in the Bufalling dynasty. In the end, he still lost to Lin Fei and had to admit defeat. Not many core disciples could think of such a situation, and among the core disciples, how many could do it so easily? At least, Wang Chong couldn't think of anyone who could do it. We have a total of 10 law enforcement elders, and they are all old fogies. They usually like to maintain the prestige of the law enforcement hall. Yesterday's matter, I don't know how, but it fell into their ears, so... Wang Chong trembled, peeking at Yi Shiwen's expression from time to time. So they want to punish me? Wang Chong hurriedly nodded. I also think that it's wrong to do so. It's normal to make mistakes in a fight, but the law enforcement elder thinks that Senior Brother, say no more. Lin Fei interrupted Wang Chong, a group of stubborn old fogies. Wang Chong didn't dare to make a sound. Stubborn old fogies. Only Senior Brother dares to say that. If it were any other disciple, they would have been suppressed, Wang Chong thought. How do those old fogies plan to punish me? Lin Fei asked casually. Wang Chong swallowed his saliva and said in a low voice, They said that they want Senior Brother to face the wall for 10 years as a warning to others. Lin Fei's eyes narrowed with anger. A group of old fogies, they want to use me as a warning to others. This also depends on whether you have the strength to do so. Using me as a warning to others? Bah! Hearing this punishment, Lin Fei was very angry. Facing the wall for 10 years for no reason. Lin Fei didn't want to face the wall. In this way, another fight was inevitable. At this time, Lin Fei had nothing to fear. The law enforcement hall disciples behind Wang Chong looked at each other, wondering if they had heard wrong. This is too arrogant. They were all law enforcement elders. Although they had not reached the profound king realm, they were all at the profound spirit late stage and profound spirit great circle, which was also a first-class strength in the divine martial sect. Now, there was someone who was not convinced. It seemed like a fight was going to happen. The law enforcement hall was located in the belly of a gloomy mountain. The gloomy atmosphere became the biggest feature of the location of the law enforcement hall. The natural terrain, coupled with the law enforcement hall's reputation for not provoking. Over time, this place became a forbidden area, and few people were willing to appear in this place, because they hated the atmosphere of the law enforcement hall. This is the law enforcement hall. Wang Chang nodded. Through the passage is the main hall of the law enforcement hall. Lin Fei muttered in his heart. This law enforcement hall is a prison. No wonder they are all afraid of the law enforcement hall. They have been here once. I'm afraid they won't dare to come a second time. Looking at the plaque hanging high, the black words Law Enforcement Hall, a smile hung on the corner of his mouth, and he strode in. As Lin Fei was taken away by the law enforcement hall, the news of Senior Brother Bloodshadow's defeat spread immediately. The inner sect disciples were shocked. This news was too great a shock to them. Among the inner sect disciples, of course, there were some powerful inner sect disciples who were eager to fight with Lin Fei in order to raise their reputation. After hearing this news, the inner sect disciples opened their eyes wide in disbelief. Senior Brother Bloodshadow was a core disciple, and his strength was many times stronger than the inner sect disciples. Even if a group of them went up, it would be useless. The tyrannical Senior Brother Bloodshadow personally went up to Lin Fei, and he was utterly defeated. How would they dare to go up? Wouldn't that be asking for trouble? Then the words that Lin Fei conveyed were undoubtedly like a stone thrown into a turbulent lake, breaking the original peace. For a moment, a storm arose in the Divine Force sect. Haha, even Bloodshadow was defeated. This Lin Fei is really surprising. Hearing this news, Raymond couldn't help but applaud. Lin Fei is a friend worth befriending. Blood C wanted to use the challenge ring to defeat Lin Fei, but I didn't expect Lin Fei to not give him face, and humiliated him in front of everyone. Good fight, Old Lei, like this kind of person. Hearing this news, Raymond was the most excited. But when he heard that Bloodshadow was taken away by the law enforcement hall, he couldn't help but frown. That brat Lin Fei didn't give Bloodshadow any face. I hope he won't cause any big trouble again. Those old antiques aren't that easy to provoke. But I'm really looking forward to it. Some people were happy and some are angry. A mere Lin Fei only defeated Bloodshadow, and Bloodshadow's strength is only in the middle stage of cryptic spirit, and he dares to be so arrogant. Unfortunately, he was taken away by the law enforcement hall. If he comes out, I'll definitely have a big fight with him, and let him understand the rules. On a mountain peak, 2 core disciples had furious expressions on their faces. He is indeed arrogant. There aren't many people in our Divine Force sect who are so arrogant. Does he really think that he can do whatever he wants after defeating Bloodshadow? Seems like he thinks too highly of himself. We, the core disciples, haven't said anything yet. The white-haired young man said indifferently. Although his tone was indifferent, it carried a hint of disdain. It's really a pity that this brat was taken away by the law enforcement hall. I heard that those old antiques are quite angry. Maybe he'll be facing the wall for a few decades. A few decades? That's not a small punishment. His whole life is over. In the gloomy main hall of the law enforcement hall, when Lin Fei walked in, there were 2 law enforcement hall disciples standing on both sides, all of them expressionless.